My day has been all right, John Chitters. I've been doing okay. It's been actually a very busy day for me. Also, you all will probably notice I have kind of a new stream layout I'm trying out, so everybody let me know what you think of it. I personally think it looks a lot nicer. I've been meaning to do a nice stream layout for a little while, and I think this is very good. However, I wasn't able to decide if I wanted to do like this or keep me a little bit tinier in the corner so that we can see lamb chop. So if anybody has any thoughts on that, I would love to know. Oh, thank you very much, Matt WeSport64. I appreciate it. Let me make sure I'm getting audio from this. I am not. There's something in the volume mixer. Oh, actually, probably. Are you kidding? Sorry, everybody. I am trying to figure out why my audio isn't working. That is very annoying. Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties. Okay, cool. Alright, so I just won't use that today. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a second set of headset. You come up. Okay, there we go. Very sorry, everybody. I'll be right back, actually. Yeehaw! Let's get it going. Perfect. Everybody can hear me okay? Make sure I can hear.
Traditional story of Thanksgiving.
Fortunately, I can. Yeah, I can hear him just fine. I thank you, Turtle Boom. Sorry, I've completely missed out on what everybody has been saying. I would love to do a lamb chop plushie. I don't know. It probably won't be feasible for a little while. But I do. We're on YouTube. If you see this, only one screen and not in Twitch chat. Okay, yeah, I see both on the same chat. But I do have. Oh yeah, no. Somebody just talked about the Pizza Hut tweet. Yeah, it's very weird. His like bizarre. Aw, thank you very much, Justin the Dam, for cheering 200. I appreciate it so much. His bizarre Pizza Hut tirade. And because he is slavishly devoted to this free speech thing on Twitter, Matt has only been uploading stuff on Twitter. And it's like this little segment is a Twitter exclusive, I believe. I'm pretty sure it also goes on Daily Wire, but it's not on YouTube. So I have to go to his thing to watch it. Like they haven't uploaded it to YouTube, which is a nightmare. Okay, yeah, I guess we need to go over the Pizza Hut tweet. Matt Walsh. Oh God, apparently it's trending because of him. Which, by the way, your trends are tailored to you. So, like, because you see it trending does not mean it's trending worldwide necessarily. Like, I get shit that's trending and I'm like, there's no way that Katra from She-Ra is trending again. It's not happening. But here's the Pizza Hut tweet for anybody who missed it. Had to order Pizza Hut tonight for the first time in years because I'm traveling and there's nothing else open. It's maybe the worst pizza I've ever had in my life. Has Pizza Hut always been this god-awful, or has the quality just declined this much? I used to love it as a kid. And it's just like, Pizza Hut is, like, I haven't had Pizza Hut in years. I've always been more of a Domino's. But, like, fast food takeout pizza is always going to be just, like, whatever, fine. Unless you're getting it cold or soggy or something. If you're getting it fresh out of the oven, you're getting what you pay for. You get bread, you get sauce, you get meats, cheese, toppings. And so this is just like another example of Matt being a whiny bitch just for the sake of it, I feel. And that's my take on Matt's Pizza Hut nightmare. But you may have noticed, it really is. It's such a, like, oh, thank you very much, Scarlet Unscripted. I am Tondro. And here's the thing with Little Caesars. I actually had a Little Caesars Supreme pizza the other day. And Little Caesars has gotten a lot. Their regular pepperoni is still the same. But their Supreme is, like, surprisingly solid. At least the one I have here. And here's the other thing. Fast food takeout pizza is going to vary by location. Like, not necessarily in terms of the quality of ingredient, but just the effort that the workers put into it, how much goes into it. Like, it does vary by location. And anybody who's ever worked at fast food, like, there's always going to be, like, the bad Taco Bell in town. I have a bad Taco Bell. A Taco Bell I won't go to because they keep putting the goddamn wrong things on the burrito that I want. And like, I got a steak burrito. It was like 2 weeks ago now. And I've been, for a little while, I'm trying to stop because I'm starting to graze more than I'd like. But for a little while, I was eating Taco Bell more than a human should. And I was enamored with their grilled cheese steak burrito. Because it had this, when it was made hot and fresh, it had this really great blend of textures. Because it had like this crunchy fries on the inside with the hot steak with the cheese on top. It was a textural thing of beauty. However, the bad Taco Bell gave me potatoes instead of steak, which is like, what the fuck? So, like, the idea that he's, like, calling out Domino's, I don't know. It's one of those things that I see. I'm just like, it just shows, again, how insulated he is from the average person's experience. And it's not saying that, like, average people, everybody always eats out. But, like, I feel like a majority of people, you probably have fast food at least 4 times a month. And so you're at least familiar with the concept of, like, yeah, sometimes fast food is kind of garbage. Like, sometimes it's all right. Sometimes it's kind of garbage. Lugosi, that's true. It does vary in location. I know from experience I'm lucky to work in a good Pizza Hut in my hometown in Kansas. Yeah, Takasho, I imagine Matt Walsh is more likely to receive low-quality service than the average person. I could see that happening. Certainly, I could see that happening. Wait, how did Little Caesars traumatize your kids? Scatterbrain, thank you very much for following. No, you're not too late. Only rich people food for him. Jesse, yeah, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. Yeah, no, like I've been at places that has, oh yeah, and Matt Walsh, I guarantee Matt Walsh doesn't tip. Oh no, he's talked about it. He's talked about how he doesn't believe in tipping. Low food standards. My family and I are so bad at cooking. Everything just tastes good to me. I never have a complaint. Bonus because partner loves cooking for me. Oh, I envy you, Schumers. I feel more people would be happy if they had your outlook. Oh yeah, he is totally male Karen. And that is a perfect segue to kick off this story about, let me make sure I don't have any outstanding notifications. Kick off this story is, let me check my notifications real quick. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, yeah. Ah! Aw, thank you so much, Juliana, for gifting a tier 1 sub to Mockingbird. Yeah, Aether, we had a very similar thing in my high school cafeteria where we it was a local pizza chain called Pizza Pipeline. But anyway, so I wanted to do this today. And I found a couple different videos across, we even have a voice from the dead coming back to grace our ear canals. I found a video from Rush Limbaugh on Thanksgiving. We've got Rush Limbaugh, we've got Steven Crowder, we've got Ben Shapiro. Aw, thank you so much. Cheesy chip. No. The Side Chick Sacrifice. Sorry, I don't know why I saw cheesy. It's pizza on the brain. Mockingbird, thank you for popping off goats in chat. We have a variety, and if anybody hears, I'm keeping my dog distracted. One of my partners got her a bunch of toys, so they're playing with that. Yeah, no, Shawnee P, we got Rush Limbaugh back from the dead. But first, I wanted to kick it off with the Mac Daddy of shitty Thanksgiving takes. And I do want to, I'm going to preface most of this is just anti-nativism and anti-indigenous sentiment. And I do have a video that Teen Vogue did, and Teen Vogue is incredibly based. Thank you, Alex and Lion, for following. Teen Vogue is incredibly based, and they did a video where a bunch of indigenous girls talked about the history behind Thanksgiving. So we will watch that as a palate cleanser towards the end. But oh, I will beat on a dead man. Yes, when it's Rush Limbaugh, absolutely. Absolutely. Matt Walsh is kind of the of the many things I think he would be proud to claim in modern conservatism. I think anti-indigenous sentiment is probably one of his favorites. And of course, he would say he's not racist or anything. But as we listen to this, he takes the view that basically Manifest Destiny was a good thing, and that indigenous people were just on the losing side, and they deserved to lose, and they were inferior to the white man in every way. Not taking into account the ways that indigenous people were murdered, backstabbed, betrayed, made deals with, and then given things like smallpox blankets. If you've seen a great film about it recently is Killers of the Flower Moon, which basically goes into in depth how there were, like, on a systematic level, there were always people trying to fuck over indigenous Americans. Matt Walsh, however, doesn't see it that way. In fact, he thinks all of that was basically good and morally justifiable. Kat, hello. Hello. Kat has a lot to say, apparently. Dandelion Bodies, I'm glad you got to make it too. Kat still wants to fit in the frame. Kat, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Boneless or traditional? Okay. Okay, Kat. There. You sit like that. Austin Ozzy, thank you very much for following. I am sorry if my cat blocks the speaker at all. Does cat need loves? Aw, Dark Excalibur 42, thank you for subbing. That is 2 months for you. Thank you so much. I will not call him Matthew. That seems far too respectful. There are very few people that I straight up refuse to respect in this world. Matt Walsh is one of them. No, Lorraine Drosophila, the way indigenous people in America have been treated, like being able to see it firsthand, being able to know people who have been affected by it, it is like heartbreaking to understand the full weight of how much an exterminist ideology has underpinned America's approach to indigenous peoples for so long, and how it is like just left and multiple entire civilizations in ruins. It's terrible. Hello, cat. Patrick Dune, super chatted $2. Rush claimed to be pro-life but died anyway. Ironic. Ironic, isn't it? Checkmate, atheists. Hello. All right, let's get going. The cat isn't bothering anybody, right? Aw, the DJB, thank you very much for subbing. I love cat. I mute. There should be stickers. Are there no? Oh shit! You know what? Damn. This is a new stream layout, and it's a separate window from my main one. I am so sorry. No stickers for this stream. There will be I forgot to add that in. I will add stickers for the next one. I am so sorry about that. I completely forgot. It is War on Christmas season. However, this is War on Thanksgiving. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's a good pet. Cat takes a pet like no problem. Mwah. Junior play Switch. Do we want to not talk about Matt Walsh? Do we want to just sit here with the cat forever? Oh. She's being so... Here, let me see if I can get some rumbles on. You got some rumbles? Did you guys get the rumbles? Good. Perfect. Oh yeah, she loves those scritches. Oh my goodness. You're being so personable. You just want to be the center of attention. Okay. As much as I would love to delay this forever and continue petting my cat, we have to go into, because I promised it for the stream, we have to go into Matt Walsh and being thankful for the settlers who conquered this land. Be proud of your history and heritage. History and heritage. It's weird how Matt just seems to be edging closer and closer to the 14 words. Like, he's always been a racist, but he so obviously feels more comfortable now than he ever has. Takashito, cat is the spoon of sugar to make the poison go down. So true. So true.
First of all, it's true that the traditional story of Thanksgiving that they used to tell young children in school decades ago
you can't show that on Twitch,
simplistic. And there's probably a certain element of legend to it. Every country has its legends. Every country has its foundational myths.
Oh, sorry. Josh Daniel, just because you asked, this is Lamb Chop over here in the bottom left corner, made by the brilliant artist. The camera doesn't show it, but Kelly Verity. They've done some amazing, amazing artwork for me. Go check out their art. They're on at Kelly Dean Verity Art on Instagram and Twitter, and they do just amazing, like, Technicolor vaporwave art. I love them so, so much. Yes, and those Taco Time, those emotes that Taco Time just popped off are also from Kelly. And oh my gosh, somebody just did a super chat and I totally missed it. Alex is Uncultured. Thank you very much for super chatting $5. And John Daniel for super chatting €5. How exotic. Oh my goodness. Feel like taking a little vacation, huh, Kitty? You. Mwah. Okay. Now that we've introduced Lamb Chop, and yes, Lamb Chop is in fact a goat, not a lamb, but that's the name, so I'm sticking to it. Anyway, back to Matt talking about legends or whatever.
There is nothing sinister about that. Stories are passed down through the generations. Details are lost over time. Sometimes details are added. All to preserve the central theme or message in the story. Every culture has its legends. And really, our understanding of all historical events from centuries ago is, at the very least, incomplete. We don't have camera footage to review, so we can only go by what people involved said happened, or what people who talked to people involved said happened. So none of this is revelatory. We all understand this. Okay, so every time they say, well, did you know what they told you in second grade about Thanksgiving? Did you know that wasn't the whole story? Of course it's not the whole story, you idiot.
You can see he's already conceding historical fact of things like he's basically getting ready to set up conceding that, like, oh yeah, maybe white people were fucking terrible to indigenous people. Maybe they enslaved them, raped them, murdered them in droves, drove them off their land, and completely decimated their way of life that has been succeeding for hundreds of thousands of years. Like, you can see he's working his way up to that, but doing it in a way that still allows him to feel like he's morally or intellectually is the right word, superior. Yeah, no, this is 8 minutes long.
It was in second grade. I assume it wasn't the whole story.
Did you?
None of that changes.
So here's the other part of this, and I realize I just stopped and started. I apologize. The other part of this is he's saying, like, oh, I assumed what I learned in second grade wasn't the whole story. The problem is, a lot of Americans don't. The reason why there's such a big pushback on things like CRT and learning about history of indigenous people is because so many people grow up thinking the thing they learned in second grade, the super simplistic, broad overview of American history that makes America look really good and uncomplicated, they think that's the end of the story. So when something comes along and they're like, oh, did you know Thomas Jefferson was like a pedophile and a rapist? They're like, that's not true. You're just trying to wokeify everything. Like, there are tons of people who think that history, that very simplistic second grade history, is the only history we ever needed to learn. Matt, people like you. Ugh. Dark Knight, no, it's fine if you stop it, he can't speak. Yeah, no, same thing with gender and biology. It's just people seeing the simplest thing that they learned in grade school and being like, well, this is all there is. Otherwise, they would have told me more. This, by the way, fucking rich to be coming from somebody like Matt, who very purposely, if you guys haven't watched the videos I did on Matt, go watch them. But who very purposely, like, didn't go to college and wears that as like a badge of honor, that he remains willfully ignorant of learning things. Yeah, Dragon legit. Guys, the Indians were just chill people who taught us how to farm corn, and we gifted them with the wonderful land of Oklahoma. How could English people ever be so bad? What? Corn, excuse you. As we all learned in history class, it was actually maize is what they called it. Thank you very much, Kay Snicket, for following. Between that and the reinforced propaganda they are repeatedly exposed to in their adult lives. Fenakage Gami. Thank you very much, and have some bits from a new fan. I appreciate it so much. And thank you for following. Flea Block, we'll get to that. Is he trying to say white people need to be protected from the truth about history? We'll see. Let's let him get to his point.
The basic meaning of Thanksgiving, or undermines or debunks the basic central story of Thanksgiving. Besides, the old simplistic story of the holiday has now been replaced with a new simplistic story. In the new simplistic version, the native tribes were all a bunch of peaceful, tree-hugging hippies in tune with the earth and nature, singing Kumbaya.
So he's going to get into, this is another thing that he uses to, like, it's literally like white man's burden shit. It is literally, he justifies the wholesale to the brink of extermination, elimination of indigenous people by saying they all were at war with each other anyway, which is not actually true. Not that he actually gives a fuck. And that is, he's already going towards it. I know Matt's arguments. I'm too familiar with his dumb bullshit.
When they were viciously slaughtered by the white man. The actual truth is that the native tribes were in a constant state of war long before any white man set foot on these shores. Violence was an integral part of so-called indigenous culture, all indigenous cultures, because it was not just one culture. Okay.
Also, he says this like it was exclusive to indigenous Americans. Like Europe didn't engage in stupid, pointless wars. Famously, Europe, not a very war-friendly place over the years. He says this like there weren't the exact same kind of territorial disputes, and, in many ways, very similar cultures in Scandinavia, in the Netherlands, in Sweden and Denmark and Germany. But those were white people, so that was more culture. Like, it's one of these things that he does that is so reminiscent of when, like, the Marble Abbey statue accounts are just like, white people made the Western world, and they want to show, like, Vikings next to, like, Roman emperors, and it's like, those two didn't get along, motherfucker. Like, you're just trying to claim it all and point to anything that's different. But, like, if you were on one side of those back in the day, if the other one saw you, it would be on sight. Sean of Donegal, thank you very much for cheering one biddy. Patrick W. Dune has super chatted $2 basic biology. MFs don't know basic grammar pronouns. They're not ready for pronouns. They are still stuck on amateur nouns. Thank you very much, Polygore, for dipping in. Those Native Americans. Oh yeah, no, he has British colonial vibes for sure. Like his entire thing is about bringing civilization. Like this dude is a fucking like Disney villain. I can't believe this guy.
These were disparate tribes stretched out all over the hemisphere, and
disparate, dipshit.
Violence was an integral part of all of them, no exceptions. As for their contact with European settlers, sometimes the contact was peaceful on both sides. On some occasions, the settlers committed atrocities. On some occasions, the Indians committed atrocities. On some occasions, the atrocities on either side were basically unprovoked. On plenty of occasions, there was mutual combat between the two sides. The Pequot people mentioned in that last video were not helpless victims. They were at war with the colonists. They lost the war. They were conquered. Such is the way of history. Such is the law of conquest, which the Pequot, like all Indians...
The law of conquest. Hey, Matt, would you want to be conquered, buddy? How about somebody comes and conquests you? It's the law of conquest. If somebody just comes and, like, takes over your house and, like, kills you, that's the law of conquest. It's old as time itself, apparently. PK Ripper is super chatted. So glad when I catch you live on a day off. It's hard to listen to this clown, by the way. Cannot ignore these freaks, unfortunately. Yes, that is why I do what I do.
Well understood. They had done plenty of conquering themselves. In fact, and this was a very common occurrence, the colonists had Indian allies in their fight against the Pequot. And the tribes allied with the colonists were the ones that the Pequot had previously...
You mean to tell me there were turncoats against an overwhelming and oppressive force of white people? There were people who were like, I'm gonna get with these folks while the getting's good. Gosh, this has never happened. Truly, there have never been an underclass that sided with the class in power in hopes of ensuring their survival. This is a new thing specific to this exact example, Matt. You're correct.
Conquered and slaughtered. And so they were a little bit miffed at the Pequot. Of course, the Native American dude up on stage for the day of mourning festivities.
Dude, all right. My dog just brought me what looks to be the remains of a squeaker, so I'm gonna go get her a new toy real quick. Alrighty, Squeak. I know, I keep doing Arc Young, I keep doing the same thing. He keeps saying Pequod, which is, it's the boat in Moby Dick. Yeah. Yeah, I always get Queequeg and Pequod confused. Even though one's a boat, one's a person.
Or any of the rest of them. They don't mention any of this. They never do. They never acknowledge even one of the many, many, many countless instances of Indian tribes inflicting horrific, savage violence on innocent colonists, including women and children, and on each other. They never acknowledge it because they don't want you to realize that this land was not stolen, it was conquered.
Again, he acts as though white people had never done anything bad. Like, as if white people had not been at war with each other over minor territorial disputes. As if white people had not been pillaging and plundering and raping and murdering and killing women and children on their own over in Europe. Completely separate from the New World. But no, it's only worth drawing attention to, for Matt, it's only worth drawing attention to when Native Indigenous folks do it. Okay. Oh yeah, no. His Calico Bold. His entire thing is that it's like they won fair and square, basically, which is not fucking true. That is not how white people won over Native Americans. They did not win fair and square. They cheated, plundered, usurped, backstabbed at every fucking point they could. Like, again, another fact of history. Matt doesn't probably want to talk about that. He wants to make it look like, oh, it was this honorable war and the white people just happened to win out. There was nothing fucking honorable about the tactics that white people took to enslave and systematically destroy indigenous people. There was nothing honorable whatsoever. Thank you very much. Deckham David. That almost made me, what's the word where you read things backwards? Whatever. You know what I mean.
Fair and square. The previous conquerors of this land were then themselves conquered. That's the way it goes. Second, even if it's true that most of the settlers were peaceful and that oftentimes they were the victims of brutal violence by the Indians.
Oh, yeah.
And that there was mutual combat between the two sides and the Indians simply lost the battle. They lost the war. So it was a war and they lost. Sorry, but you lost. Even if all that's true, does it justify whatever actual atrocities the settlers committed? No, of course it doesn't. Do I deny that such atrocities were committed? No, of course I don't. But here's what I do say about those cases.
Also, notice he'll go on at length about what specifically the indigenous atrocities were. How, he'll fearmonger about how it was women and children. Don't forget, women and children were killed. But he'll just say, did the white people commit atrocities? Sure. I don't agree with those atrocities, but he won't go into any more depth on what they were. Why not, Matt? Why won't you talk more about what the white people did? Why not, Matt?
And I'll put it as gently as possible. Get the hell over it. Move on. Move on. Are you saying we should just get over and move on atrocities that were committed hundreds of years ago? Yeah. Basically, just get over it.
Matt does not understand very basic concepts like the continuum of history and how driving indigenous people to a breaking point. And again, as we were talking about Killers of the Flower Moon, a movie with its problems, but it does show how anti-indigenous sentiment and racism continued destroying communities, lifestyles, people's generational homes into the late early 1900s. Like, the way that indigenous people have been treated has not subsisted. It has only continued. Now, granted, they aren't being killed. They aren't being given smallpox blankets, anything like that. But what Matt would deny is the role that systemic and structural racism has played in their subjugation. But no, he would rather say, get over it. To people that have had their entire culture almost wiped from the earth compared to what it was. You are a disgusting little cretin, you piece of shit.
The guy in the last video was complaining about something that supposedly happened in 1637. That's nearly 400 years ago. You can...
What's your point? You want to talk about how great, classic philosophers and the people who started society are, Matt. Pretty sure Plato and Aristotle happened a while fucking before then. You still think they're important. You are a stalwart, steadfast Catholic. You want to talk about Jesus and his importance and the Bible's importance to society. Happened way fucking longer than 400 years ago. But those things are important. This thing that has a tangible impact on the way people are still treated today, that's not important. To Matt, that's not important. I wonder why. It's because he's white. Look, here's a really good distinguisher, because sometimes people will take offense when somebody says like, oh my gosh, I hate white people or something. And if you're white, you might feel tempted to take offense at that. Like if somebody who's black or who's Mexican or who's Asian or whatever on the internet makes a comment about like, God, white people are the worst. Here's how you can tell if they're talking about you or not. Are you somebody like Matt Walsh? Because if you're somebody like Matt Walsh, they're talking about you. When people say the white devil, they're talking about Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is the person they're talking about. Fennec Kagami cheered 50 bits. Jews were persecuted for killing Christ for 2,000 years, Matt. Oh, he is one of the people who is currently on the side of the Jews. Not that I think he cares at all. Postmodern Pastoral has super chatted $2. The vaccine made me gay. Rest in peace. People say, ugh, I hate white people. When my pale mouth opens to say, as you should. No, it's like a couple weeks ago. It was how fucking Short Fat Otaku found me. Was because I had done, it was in that first round of Matt Walsh and Steven Crowder being like, oh, see, the Nashville shooter is racist because this very clearly mentally unwell person called a bunch of white kids crackers. But the person was white. And everybody was like, oh, it's anti-white racism. It's like, to you, maybe. Because you're the bad white people that people are always talking about. Like, not me. I don't see it that way. Maps and Mimics, thank you very much for following. All right, let's finish up with this guy. I'm heated. I'm heated.
Not actually be angry about something that happened 400 years ago. If you are, then you are insane. You are an insane person if you're actually mad about stuff that happened 4 centuries ago. That is 16 generations. We are as close to the Pilgrims today as the Pilgrims were to the Crusades. That's the amount of time we're dealing with. And yet we have people in this country so young that 9/11 is ancient history to them, pretending to be distraught and devastated by events that occurred 150 years before the Declaration of Independence was written.
Again, he does this all the time. And people buy into it so easily. He's basing his entire argument on one person being mad about something that happened in the 1600s. What about the several hundred years since then, Matt? Does it occur to you that, again, it's a continuum of ways that indigenous people have been fucked over? And maybe that's just they're mad about where it started for some of them? The things that nobody apologized for, nobody acknowledged for hundreds of years in history? That they can't even get to be taught in schools because of dipshits like you, not wanting to make white people and white kids feel bad. Like, yeah, no, Patrick Dune, the effects don't magically go away. Like, do you think that it's just a one and done thing? That just some atrocities were committed in the 1600s, and then they just stopped. All the way through the 1700s, all the way through the Civil War, all the way through Manifest Destiny, all the way through settling the frontier, all the way through the U.S. government giving away Indian land to settlers, all the way through the gold rush. Like, do you think those things just stopped? No. You ding dong. The thing that he doesn't want to acknowledge is that, and again, only because it's so fresh on my mind, but like shown in Killers of the Flower Moon, atrocities were being committed actively in the last 100 years in this country. He wants to talk about generational trauma and wants to make it seem like, oh, this thing was so far in the past. And it's on the same mind track that people like him like to tout about, like, oh, I didn't own slaves. Like, why should I feel bad? Why should anybody pay reparations? Why? She is loving that toy. like, I didn't own slaves. Why should I feel bad for that? And it's like, you don't need to feel personally bad for it, but you should probably acknowledge that even if you didn't own slaves, odds are there's some racism back in your history, back in your family somewhere. And even if there's not, on the outside chance that you have no racist family members at all, and you've been in America for several generations, that still doesn't change the fact that people whose lives were defined by racism, structural racism, that kept them from getting houses, from getting jobs, from keeping fortunes, that got them murdered, people whose lives were defined and built by those things, have still had to persist and live with them through the generations. And it hasn't made their lives any fairer. God, I fucking hate this guy. Sorry for the squeaking.
Do you realize how crazy that is? Pretending to be actively traumatized about stuff that happened centuries ago is psychotic. Like, imagine if you found me in the corner sobbing and you asked me what was wrong and I said, well, I'm just really upset about the burning of the Library of Alexandria.
I get... Okay. This is getting annoying for me. So I'm gonna go get her a different toy that is not so squeaky. She says, no, squeak. Want squeak. Need squeak. Oh, squeak. I love you. Yes, I do. I love you, too. My partner got the dog a 4-pack of toys, and she loves it. Or she's loving all the toys. I'm just giving her new ones every time she runs through one of them. Yeah, no, and what we're seeing here is, again, Matt, if you watch the videos I did on Matt Walsh, you'll see a lot of these arguments are very familiar because he only has the same few that he always resorts to. And this one is comparing two things that are nothing alike at all. What the fuck does the burning of the Library of Alexandria have to do with you, Matt? How does that affect you? How does that affect your heritage? You white bread bitch? Like, pretty sure you don't have any Greek or Egyptian ancestry. What? It's not the same thing. He is drawing these comparisons to purposefully make his point look way more valid than it actually is and make anybody who's against him look completely illogical, when in reality, it's just the two things have nothing to do with each other, which is what he always does. ISVVC is super chatted $2 with a little heart. Thank you very much.
'48 BC. Just haven't gotten over it. By the way, I've got news for you. 400 years ago, almost everybody's life was brutal.
Thank you,
and
Sean
tragic.
O'Donegal.
If we're supposed to be sad about misfortune suffered by people we never met way back in the distant past, then we will never stop being sad. Almost everyone everywhere suffered greatly back in those days. There are plenty of people still suffering greatly today. If you want to empathize with people's pain, maybe choose people who are currently living, not people who are decomposed in the ground 400 years ago. Not people who died 300 years before the automobile was invented. Now, in final analysis, history contains an essentially infinite amount of suffering and atrocities and outrages and injustices. It also contains heroism and sacrifice and courage and achievement. It is up to us to decide which of those things in our national history we will focus on.
Oh my God, what a fucking disingenuous bitch. Like, Essentially, the argument he's making is, are we going to really acknowledge the role white people played in eradicating entire groups of people? Moving them off of the land that they had been on for hundreds of years? Betraying them, stabbing them in the back at every turn? Murdering them, raping them? Again, drawing them to the edge of extinction. Are we going to do that? Or are we going to focus on how cool we are? And how good we are? And how innovative we are? Makes you think, God, you were such a dipshit.
I contend that the healthiest category to focus on, the thing that you focus on if you want to be a thriving and happy and healthy society, is the...
Okay, I would love to see, cite one source on that, Matt. What one source cited on this is how you make a happy, healthy, thriving society.
The latter. Which isn't to say that we outright deny and never discuss the former. Of course, we acknowledge that bad things were done in our history. We shouldn't try to erase that from the history book.
Then why don't you want it to be taught, buddy? Why do you call it CRT whenever he does get taught? PK Ripper has super chatted $5 for a person who acts like a 12-year-old. He sounds like an old man as well. Squeak. Let me see if I can do my squeaky toy. I think that worked.
As gently as possible. Get the hell over it. Move on. Yeah, move on. Are you saying we should just get over and move on atrocities that were committed hundreds of years ago? Yeah. Basically, just get over it. The guy in the last video was complaining about something that supposedly happened in 1637. That's nearly 400 years ago. You cannot actually be angry about something that happened 400 years.
Patrick Dune, $5 through the super chat. If we can't mourn for the ancient dead, why celebrate ancient heroes? Great fucking point. Great point. And also, Matt, you absolutely can be mad about it when it still affects things today. The people like you who do everything they can to whitewash white people's role in indigenous extinction. It's people like you are the reason why. And you're still perpetuating this bullshit that has been literally ever since for the last couple hundred years. White people and historians and the people in charge of the narrative have been trying to say, we don't really need to bring that up. That's ancient history now. In the 1700s, in the 1800s, in the 1900s. And now people are still, we finally have a foothold in society where we can be progressive enough to try and acknowledge those atrocities. And people like you, Matt, are still trying to hold everybody back and be like, we don't need to think about that. It's done. It's in the past. What good would that do? And it's people like you who have always been responsible for that whitewashing. You disingenuous fuck.
Years ago. If you are, then you are insane. You are an insane person if you're actually mad about stuff that happened 4 centuries ago. That is 16 generations. We are as close to the Pilgrims today as the Pilgrims were to the Crusades.
Did we
That's
already
the
watched
amount
this?
of time we're dealing with.
Is he just...
And yet we have people in this country so young that 9/11
Yeah, no, we
is
already
ancient
watched this.
history
What
to
the hell?
them,
Did I skip back?
pretending to be distraught. I was really upset about the burning
No, I
of the
totally
library.
did. Weird.
Greatly today. If you want to empathize with people's pain, maybe choose people who are currently living, not people who are decomposed in the ground 400 years ago. Not people who died 300 years before the automobile was invented.
I think the recording, Calico Bold, I don't know
Now,
what
in final
quite
analysis,
happened there.
history contains
Final
an
analysis.
essentially
Yes, we were
infinite
here.
amount of suffering and atrocities and outrages and injustices. It also contains heroism and sacrifice and courage.
Oh,
and
Yenzo,
achievement.
I should probably do Tuttle Twins at some point.
It is up to us to decide which
Fiarl,
of those
thank you
things
very much
in
for
our
following.
national history we will focus on. I contend that the healthiest category to focus on, the thing that you focus on if you want to be a thriving and happy and healthy society, is...
Which Matt Walsh would obviously know fuck all about because he's never been to secondary education of any kind. So him saying like, I contend this is how you make a good and just, profitable society is laughable because he would know nothing about it. As many books on history as he's wanted to read, which fucking fat lot of good it's apparently done him already, as we can see from this video. Colton, God of Coltonverse, has super chatted $5. Your videos and streams are my refuge for whenever I am going mad after listening to these intellectual titans. History is the context of today. Very well put. Thank you very much, Colton. I appreciate it.
The latter. Which isn't to say that we outright deny and never discuss the former. Of course, we acknowledge that bad things were done in our history. We shouldn't try to erase that from history books, and nobody
take
is.
a look at
but ultimately, you will look back
Twins.
on your history with pride and gratitude, or with resentment and despair. You will focus on the
Again, Matt Walsh, no room for nuance. You either look back on your history with pride and gratitude, or regret and despair. It's like, no. I feel like most people, despite him going out of his way to call people mentally unhinged and insane in this video, I feel like most people are able to, like, do, like, a little bit of both. It's like, yeah, bad shit really happened. Also, good shit happened. That's the way the world works. Like it's not that hard. The problem is, when you balance the two, when you have a nuanced perspective, you have to acknowledge the bad things, which is what Matt doesn't want to do.
triumph or the tragedy. The people of all other nations across the world, or at least the non-Western world, they choose to focus on the triumph of their ancestors, which breeds national pride and patriotism and gratitude. In the modern West, we are the only ones who have decided to basically ignore all of the positive and concentrate almost exclusively on the bad.
That is not only apocryphal, absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. In other countries, there are plenty of movements to try and get their countries to acknowledge histories of pain and abuse. Like there are entire political movements in Japan dedicated to nationally recognizing the atrocities committed in China and World War II. Like you want to, do you really want to go there with like Germany, Matt? You can't even say Nazi. Well, you can't say Nazi stuff in Germany. Like, we are not the only one to look back on our national legacy with a semblance of regret over the things we've done. And I would argue that America, probably more than a lot of those other ones, well, I would argue that America is at least neck and neck with Germany for should be looking back like, ugh. Again, Matt doesn't want that. He wants national pride. You fascist fuck.
So much so that even our day of Thanksgiving has become, at least in some corners, times of mourning. And what has that strategy gotten us? It's only made us resentful, sullen, depressed, ungrateful. It has made us worse people.
That resentful, sullen, depressed, ungrateful, and he is saying that makes you worse people. Matt, that's you, buddy. You're the worst person. You are resentful, sullen. I don't know if you're depressed. I imagine you are in your darkest moments. You are certainly ungrateful. Thank you very much, Majra Mangetsu. I appreciate you for stopping by. Yeah, no, also, I'm Yugimoto, same guy who defends keeping statues to preserve history. Statues, by the way, that are only like less than 100 years old and were cheap pieces of tat thrown up by like the daughters of the Confederacy. All right, we're last couple minutes, guys.
And our country a worse country. That's why I will not partake in this historical self-flagellation. Instead, I celebrate the incredible valor and intrepidness of my ancestors. I take pride in this country's history and in those who made it possible for this country to exist in the first place. I am happy that they came here and that they conquered. I am thankful for their conquest. I will give thanks for it on Thanksgiving and for so much else.
God, fucking psychotic. Just the way he dots the T's on that are just like, I am thankful for the murder that they did. Like that's what he's thinking. He's not saying, "Oh, I'm actually thankful for the bravery." He's saying, "I am thankful that people of color were subjugated, so I don't have to see them as much." That's really what Matt Walsh is thinking. All right, where was that other video he talked about? Anti-trans violence. That was another one I wanted to do. I can't do that one today. We got too many other things to go through. Sean of Donegal, thank you very much for cheering another biddy. All drug or prostitution related. You don't think those have anything to do, Matt? God, you are such a dipshit. Did he not have the allowing us to speak? No, I guess he doesn't have the other one on here. Anyway, that's the Matt Walsh. Agent Emily Dawn, thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Sean of Donegal, thank you very much for saying hi. Now, who wants to learn the truth about Thanksgiving? It's baby Shapiro. Baby Ben. Little Babby Ben Shapiro. Babby Shabibo. There we go. Let's get in this. I for one am very excited to learn the real history behind Thanksgiving. Very excited for this one.
Hi, I'm Ben Shapiro, and this is Reality Check. Thanksgiving is almost upon us, and once again, we'll be treated to the usual dumbed-down version of the Thanksgiving story. White Europeans landed in America fleeing religious persecution, were too dumb to farm, and relied on the wise Native Americans to help them. Then they had a meal together and learned to share, after which the white Europeans genocided the Native Americans. Let's watch some football. The whole story's much more interesting. It's also not particularly friendly to leftists. The Puritans who came to Massachusetts on the Mayflower were not emissaries of religious tolerance. They actually left liberal Holland to push for, quote, the glory of God and advancement of the Christian...
Look at his eyes. I realize he's reading from a teleprompter very obviously, and he doesn't have the experience down to hide that. But the effect is that his eyes look dead inside.
Faith, as it says right in the Mayflower Compact. Turns out, Christianity was much more important than multiculturalism to the heroes of Plymouth Rock. And Christianity, not multiculturalism, saved the Puritans. The first winter, half the new settlers died. That was because of drought and plague and failure to understand the crops. Then, Squanto showed up. Now, Squanto...
This is all shit that everybody... This is the same thing that he was like, oh, it's more, what the fuck did he say? It's more in-depth than people knew about. Like, this is the same stuff that everybody learned second year. Like, he's just regurgitating the same shit.
He wasn't just a Native American refugee from the Disney movie Pocahontas jabbering about the colors of the wind. He was a Christian. Apparently, Squanto was just a boy when he met the English for the first time. He was promptly captured and sent back to England for training as a guide. In 16...
Jesus. Promptly captured, Ben? You're trying to make the English look like the good guys here? Verdant Clips has used 100 bits. Found your YouTube about 2 weeks ago. And I'm happy I found it. Every video has been great. You rock. Thank you very much. Giga Ashley, if Matt truly believed things in the 1600 had no effect on today, he would be a traditionalist. Yeah, exactly. He knows what he's fucking doing. He knows what he's doing. He is just being disingenuous on purpose to try and claim a moral high ground.
In 14, he came back to America with John Smith, and then he was kidnapped again by one of Smith's men, sent back to Spain and sold into slavery. Spanish monks bought him, taught him Christianity.
Again, Ben, you're not making the settlers look good here. Like, what is the point you think you're proving here, buddy? Like, this is not what he was captured twice, brainwashed as a kid, sent off to England, reformed to Christianity. Like, the point of this video is supposed to be like, oh, everything the left told you about how the settlers treated indigenous people was a lie. Kind of going against your point here, bucko.
He somehow ended up in England, earned the respect of an Englishman who paid for his passage back to the New World. In 1619, Squanto finally went home. But by the time he got back, his entire village had been killed by disease. 1 year later, the Pilgrims showed up.
Disease from what, Ben? I mean, I guess I don't know. It could have been just like regular disease, or it also could have been like many indigenous people. They're wiped out by being exposed to different germs and bacteria from the settlers. But let's just skate right over that, Benny boy.
And happened to settle right there in Squanto's devastated village. Governor William Bradford wrote that Squanto, quote, became a special instrument sent of God for our good. He never left us till he died. It was Christian Squanto, not Native Americans generally, who taught the Pilgrims how to farm.
Christian Squanto. Brainwashed Christian Squanto. Good God. This is 3 minutes long, and it's still, like, the absolute, just the temerity he has to be like, this is how you're all wrong. And then with such self-confidence, and I realize, again, this is a script he's reading for, like, a different outlet. I guess this was before Daily Wire. But just like, god damn. All right, I'll be right back. Yes, you are being a bug. You're being a bug. Okay, no more squeaky. Squeak! All right, thank you guys for bearing with me on that. Those didn't happen in the mid-19th century, not defending Ben, just correcting. Spread of disease in 1600s was only part of all this that was genuinely unavoidable. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Like I said, I have no idea if that was the case.
Squantos helped the Pilgrims survive to celebrate the first Thanksgiving in 1621. When he died 1 year later, he asked Bradford to pray for him so that he could, quote, go to the Englishman's God in heaven. But that wasn't the end of the story either. The Pilgrims had set up a massive
literally just, like, it's just Manifest Destiny shit. Also, Ben, you're just talking about, like, Squanto and the Mayflower and Pilgrims and all that shit. Do you want to talk about Columbus, buddy? Do you want to go there? That's another one Matt is a huge defender of. Columbus was a brave explorer, not like a weird rapist at all.
Obstacle for themselves. Their idea of a religious utopia was a giant commune. And, like all communist experiments, it failed spectacularly. Governor William Bradford wrote, quote, the failure of that experiment of communal service, which was tried for several years and by good and honest men, proves the emptiness of the theory of Plato and other ancients, applauded by some of later times, that the taking away of private property and the possession of it in community by a commonwealth would make a state happy and flourishing, as if they were wiser than God. Community of property was found to breed much confusion and discontent, and retard much employment which would have been to the general benefit. In other words, both men and women refused to work, and stealing became rampant. So, what did the Puritans do? Bradford described it in 1623, after the first Thanksgiving. They trashed the system. Quote, "The governor, with the advice of the chief among them, allowed each man to plant corn for his own household, so every family was assigned a parcel of land. This was very successful."
Every man was assigned, like, this is supposed to be some vague, I don't fucking know why, but this is supposed to be some, like, vague allusion to, like, look at what happens when there's communal work. Look at what happens when individualism is not prioritized and man does not work, neither shall he eat. Socialism run amok in Puritan society. However, every man was given a plot of land with which to plant corn, you say. Every person was given property, you say. That's it's very interesting. It's very interesting, Ben. It sounds slightly socialist. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's just so funny how, again, they're trying to, like, take these things from hundreds and hundreds of years ago and trying to apply them to what we know today and the things that we do today, but failing because they don't exactly map on, and in fact usually map on to things that they probably wouldn't like.
Successful that more than a century and a half later, George Washington explained the legacy of religious purity in his first Thanksgiving Day proclamation. Quote, "It is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey his will, to be grateful for his benefits, and humbly to implore his protection and favor. And it is with thanks to God and his principles and the pursuit of his purity that we celebrate this Thanksgiving." Now let's go watch some football. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel or click here to give a quick...
No. Good God. That's a rough... That was... Okay. So who's ready? Who's ready for what we got next, huh? Let's I got another one lined up. Like I said, I got videos. We're gonna have a good time. We're all gonna chill. We're just relaxing, having a fun, chill time as you get ready to go visit all of your families tomorrow. You're gonna have to listen to them talk about how great Sound of Freedom was and how based Matt Walsh is. Thank you very much, Random Sniper. And Fiaro for subscribing at Tier 1. Thank you. How do I not simp for Vesper? I don't know. I'm very simpable, I guess. Not the brain from Arthur. No! Yes, this is a new Crowder, I believe. This is... No, it's not. It's from 3 years ago. Excuse me. I apologize. I thought it was new, but it's not. But we're still going to see why... First off, Change My Mind is one of Steven Crowder's dumbest fucking ideas. And it actually got picked up by, because of course they don't have a single thought in their head. The Hate Church, one of the one of the pastors, God, I can picture his stupid block-shaped head. Jonathan Shelley has started doing, because they like to do shorts and stuff. Jonathan Shelley has started doing Change My Mind style videos. So, thanks for inspiring that, Steven Crowder. Sean of Donegal, Vesper is the ultimate cutie. Thank you very much. No, pilgrims didn't dress like that. El Luigi, chilling before the inevitable day of dealing with racist uncles. No, Omace, not the bald one. The one who runs the church out of Texas is the one who does that. Baba Ali, Stephen Plower, Buckle Hat's fake. Yenzo, the latest Tuttle Twins has me very baffled right now. I mean, yeah, the school system does suck because of how overworked and how teachers aren't able to teach what they want. Classroom sizes being overbooked. Also, the Tuttle Twins want to pretend that schoolhouses weren't segregated. Oh my God. All right. I have this, and then I have the Rush one. And then we're going to look at the Teen Vogue. And we aren't going to watch all of this because it's an hour and a half, and I am not listening to Steven Crowder's ass for an hour and a half. But After that, we'll do that Tuttle Twins. That seems like it would be a good frustrating thing to finish up the night with. All right, so here, Thanksgiving isn't racist. The thing that I don't know how many people were saying, I think people have talked about like the institutions around Thanksgiving and the way that history, like we've seen with fucking Matt Walsh. I would defy anybody to look at Matt Walsh's description of history around Thanksgiving and tell me that he's not racist, that his description of that history is not racist, the way he completely overlooks things is not racist. And when people say that's racist, that's generally what they're talking about. But again, conservatives hate nuance. They hate being able to acknowledge one thing is true while also having a second thing also be true. Like, you can celebrate Thanksgiving, but also acknowledge that the country has a incredibly bad relationship with how we treated indigenous people. Like, both things can be true. They don't really like that, I think. All right, let's get this started.
Erasing someone's experience and reframing it in.
But I didn't erase anybody's experience.
But by saying it isn't racist, you are erasing someone's experience.
No.
Yes, you are. Inherently.
Incorrect.
Why?
God, he's so fucking bad at this.
That's not the definition of racism.
What's the definition of racism?
Definition of racism is believing that somebody is inferior solely based on their race.
That's prejudice. Racism is institutionalized discrimination. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
See, he's just like, he thinks it's an own. Thank you very much, Sean of Donegal. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Like, he thinks it's an own to just be like, nuh-uh, nuh-uh, nuh-uh. Yeah, no, Hank Boozy. Like, literally, we had the same thought. Like, nuh-uh, nuh-uh. Like, ugh.
Time for the latest installment of Change My Mind, where we rationalize our positions on controversial subjects. For this installment, we decided to take on the rapidly growing notion that Thanksgiving is a racist holiday.
There's definitely a racist history to Thanksgiving.
It's a genocidal holiday.
Thanksgiving. Lies.
I don't buy it. So we headed to UT Austin to see who would be willing to step up, sit down, and change my mind. First up, meet Elizabeth.
What was your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Steven, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, let me set this up for... I know you said you haven't seen the show.
I have not, no.
It's basically the setup. It's not meant to be a debate. It's meant to be a conversation where we rationalize our positions on controversial topics.
Hence, change my mind. Like, it literally starts with an antagonistic statement. That's the whole point of his thing. It's such fucking disingenuous bullshit that he's just like coming into these things like, oh, I'm just, I'm just here to have like a regular conversation. I'm coming at it from one angle and I want other people to be coming at it from another angle. It's like, you fucking disingenuous prick. God.
Of noise
snake of a human being.
Thanksgiving from being recognized as a national holiday because people believe that it's a racist holiday or rooted in racism, colonialism. I don't agree. I don't think it's a racist holiday. I think it's possibly the most inclusive holiday that we have in the United States. I think it's a wonderful holiday. Has done me good, will do me good. God bless it. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Before we go to you changing my mind, what are you most thankful for?
I'm thankful I get to go home next week. I haven't been home in 3 months.
I thought you were saying get to go home and leave here. I'm like, well, we just started.
No, in a week. I live right outside of DC, so I haven't been.
Okay, I'm gonna crank up the.
That'll be nice.
Unfortunate,
you get a kind of a black.
Crank up the playback speed on this bad boy because I am not. This small talk shit is not doing it for me.
Last of winter and then you get to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Even though sometimes here it's been a little colder than it's been up north. So I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
So you're more than welcome to express to me what you disagree with and change my mind.
Sure. So I think that there's a difference between the origins of Thanksgiving, or the origins of the country, and the Thanksgiving that we celebrate now.
Okay.
So what I was overhearing was kind of hard to hear, but is you believe there's a lot of things to be thankful for. Being able to live in this country when many people are unfortunately live in countries that have terrorism and where women are not allowed to have specific rights or where specific groups are terrorized. And so obviously I'm very thankful to live in this country because we have so many rights and we have so many freedoms. But I think that there's a difference between recognizing the foundations of how Thanksgiving started and being able to say, I'm thankful that we live here. However, our origins...
She's got it. Like, she's got it on the first try. Like, holy shit, she's nailing it. Like, it's the nuance of being able to say, like, yeah, I'm glad I get to have, like, Thanksgiving and I get to eat turkey and we get to all celebrate and say what we're thankful for. However, we can all agree that, like, like white people did kind of fuck over a lot of stuff. Now, again, that doesn't mean that I personally take credit for that. I don't. I know I don't. I don't have, it's this weird thing that people have that like, and there are some like libs. And if you're a lib, God bless you. You're all God's children. I love you. But like the idea of internalized white guilt is like, that's not me. Like I do not seek to like do reparations or seek to make myself amenable to people of color or marginalized groups because of something that my ancestors did. I don't get down like that. What I seek to do is help educate others and play my part in standing up for those marginalized groups where I can, where is applicable, the same way that as a trans person, I hope other people would stick up for me. And I feel like that's like the thing you got to do here, but we're getting off track. The point is that she's already got this and she's not giving into this like white guilt bullshit. I'm so curious what he's going to say. Yeah, white guilt is for middle class cis straight white people. It's like, again, white guilt is like the left-leaning equivalent of the like the lack of nuance. Like you can't acknowledge the good with the bad. It has to be either all bad or all good. And it's like, I don't like you do not need to prostrate yourself for things that were done in the past, but acknowledging those things, understanding them, and most importantly, understanding how they play into structural roles of racism today is important. Like it's just important to understand how society works, how it services others while disservicing some people.
Is that we came to what was, I guess, the New World and now is the modern United States, and we basically said, and not necessarily on the day of Thanksgiving, this was not our intentions, but because the day of Thanksgiving in many ways, for a lot of people is going to be saying, well, we were able to break bread with the Indians and or the Native Americans, and we were able to say, listen, we
you
respect
caught that. The last guy said Indian, and I'm like, I don't want to
yeah,
break this.
I know. So sorry, Native Americans, I should, yeah, because that's obviously a pretty controversial term. But
whatever.
But some Native Americans refer to themselves as Indians, so it's kind of
yes, they do.
So that's kind of one of those things. I'm just going to use the term Native American just because I don't want to be.
Sure.
Yeah. But we were able to have this peaceful, dinner with them and basically say, listen, we're here, you guys are here, we'll be here together peacefully. But after that, that's not really what happened in the United States. I mean, when you think about Mexican annexation and when you think about the...
That was, who said that? Oh, sorry for, I missed that. Who said, sorry for gentrifying community, I'll lower the rent. Yeah, I'll lower the rent this month as I charge you this month as reparations. That's exactly the kind of thing that like rich white people wouldn't do. Is like that's the other half of it, is that like I feel so much of the like culture, as much as it could be called that, around white guilt is disingenuous, because it's like you're not actually going to put your money where your mouth is, you know? Like, and I hate that shit. Dominic Maslik has super chatted 4.99 euros. Stopping by before I go to bed. I hope you're doing well and having a good Thanksgiving. I think I will. I am little nervous because tomorrow I'm actually bringing both of my partners to my mostly conservative Christian family's Thanksgiving. So very excited for how that's gonna go.
The Native Americans who lived here and were pushed back in Mexico. When you think about the Alamo in San Antonio, that's a big thing. Is even at the Alamo, they play some kind of video that basically says, these noble Texans, and in reality, the Mexicans at the time who lived in what was...
Oh, it's okay, Mockingbird. They know that my partners are coming, so it's not like a big surprise, but it is. I am looking forward to it.
Scrambling my words, but they were the ones who were letting people come.
What's your name, 168? Thank you for following.
Because we actually want you to come here because we do not want the imperial family in.
Lectra literally just coming in to say have a happy Thanksgiving. Good luck with that. I hope it can go as well as it can. I am hoping for good things.
The more southern parts of Mexico wanted to make sure that other countries didn't come and take away the northern parts of Mexico, and that's why they asked people from the colonies to come and live in that northern part of Mexico. But what ended up happening is they seceded from Mexico, and basically we immediately started acting with terror. The Texas Rangers, who were incredibly racist and killed.
She is already whipping his ass up and down the ideological just stairway here. Like, good God. Johnston. Thank you very much for following. Like, she has got things that I guarantee, did not know.
Hung Mexicans. We have a lot of, we have, Christopher Columbus. That's another pretty controversial. Like,
oh yeah, Mace, if things go bad, I'll just go home.
So,
another one you said Indian Native American is Indigenous Peoples Day.
Exactly. So
Canada's First Nations. You're never gonna get it right.
Well, I'll try, but I do understand. Yeah. So there's,
And again, this like disingenuous shit of like, oh, it's First Nations, oh, it's Indigenous peoples, oh, it's Native Americans. It's like, I recently came across this, and I ended up taking it out of the video because it didn't play into it much. But there was a YouTuber who went on this whole tirade. Like, half of his video about why Spider-Man 2 was bad for being woke was because they used the word Latinx. And then when you actually look it up, Latinx is a word that was created by Latino queers, people from Latin America. And yeah, is it maybe overused by white people who are trying to be inclusive? Yeah, but that also doesn't, and are there a bunch of people who are Latino or Latino who are like, oh, I don't use that to describe me? Yeah, but does it also mean that there's nobody out there who identifies with it? Does it also mean that it started disingenuously? No. And I feel like that's a very similar thing to, like, whether you should use Native American or Indigenous or First Nations. And also, Indigenous and First Nations are, from what I understand, pretty interchangeable. And it's just like this. It reminds me of the same complaint that people have about LGBT, where it's like, oh, now it's LGBTQIA+, and it's like, I mean, most people would be fine with LGBT or LGBTQ. Or if you're organizing an event and you want to say we welcome LGBT people, you should probably say LGBTQIA+, just to be maximally inclusive. But like in my videos and stuff, I don't think there's anybody who's mad at me if I just say LGBTQ or LGBT, because you know what I'm talking about. And so there's always this contingent of conservatism. Yeah, or I'm chill with just queer. I use queer for like, queer is a weird one because I've had people get really mad at me for queer, like I think older people. But like that's what I use for most people I know, like in my queer community around town and when I'm organizing events and stuff. Like queer is just the way to do it. Like there's a queer open mic here in downtown that is just like it's the queer open mic. And it's just like Steven Crowder just has to get a little dig in there, partially because I think he thinks he's fucking hilarious, which he's just not. Where it's like the only people ever mad about it are the people who aren't going to use it anyway. You know, like Steven Crowder, he's already called them Indians. He said Native Americans sometime, agreeing with her. But like the fact that he's mad about like, oh, it's a First Nation, you'll never get it right. It's like, you don't give a fuck anyway. Stop being so disingenuous about it. It's like when people complain, just like when people complain about LGBTQIA. It's like, oh, now and they always do the joke LGBTQIA HIJKLMNOP or whatever. And it's like, you didn't care to fucking begin with. Like you aren't in this conversation. Why do you think you have input? You know? Who's sad? Media Breakdown has super chatted $4.99. I'm white and I had to do a living wax museum thing as a kid in school. No one batted an eye when I got assigned bed squanto. I wore a loincloth. Goodness gracious. I mean, like honestly, I have I could see where that's a problem, but as long as you weren't doing like blackface, or I guess in this case it would have been, it's as tasteless as a term, it is a term, but red face. Like as long as you weren't doing that, like I think that's probably fine. You know, like you maybe not the like dress that you had to wear, like loincloth is not accurate, but I don't think there's a problem with a white kid. If the school is nothing but white kids, I don't think there's a problem with a white kid playing the role of an indigenous person. If there's nothing else available, if it's just for educational purposes, like I think that's one of those things is like that is a little bit cringe. That walks a line, but ultimately I think that's fine. I don't think anybody should be like canceled under that. Thankfully, no makeup. Good. Good, good, good.
A lot of controversy over Columbus, and that's because when Columbus came here, you know, first of all, he thought that this is where we get this term Indians from, because he thought that he had reached India. He'd very much not. But he had treated the people with this air of European supremacy, because he, you know, immediately went and raped women. He, you know, killed people, and it was all this very big terror that obviously, I mean, this is different from the Pilgrims, who you are dressed up as, but it basically shows that a lot of this country's foundings is based on, and even if you separate the Pilgrims from, you know, Christopher Columbus, it's still based on this idea that we thought that we were able to go and conquer a land and say, listen, we know that you live here, and even if we're going to give you stuff, it's that we think that we have the right to take over somebody else's land, and that we have the right. And this is a lot of what we've done over the years when it came to the post World War II and with communism, is that we decided that it was necessary to go and save other countries from communism. And so what that led to was that, and I know this is kind of off topic, but I kind of all think of it as.
I want to let you speak because I don't want you to feel as I'm interrupting.
Yeah. Oh no, not at all.
Make sure this turkey hat is not covering the camera. Do you want to wear the turkey hat?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I love that.
All right, go ahead. Just make sure you give it back.
I will. I hope this doesn't have lice in it. That would be.
No, it does not. It's brand new from Dollarama. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. So
well, it's less Crowder, and I'm very good at multitasking, unfortunately. But cute Cotton Candy Cat saying Crowder clearly isn't very entertaining if you're checking your phone, even with it sped up. It's less Crowder because he's not doing much speaking, but it's like I am listening to her. I'm just checking on. I sent a selfie to one of my partners.
With communism, is we were going to, especially these countries like Guatemala, and we were going in and we were giving them weapons, and we were giving them.
She's so fucking based
on how
for
to fight radicals who were.
Oh my God, she's going into like the School of the Americas. Holy shit, she is so based for sitting there with this stupid turkey hat on her head. Oh, she's so cool. Kermit Thorson, thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving. I did get bigger.
At the time, most people didn't know a lot about communism.
You also gave them STDs.
You know, I did not know that, but I'm glad that I can add that.
I'm just tossing on to all of the white American guilt because then I'm going to disagree with you.
No, I totally understand.
Latine, metal. I have heard that one as well. I have heard that one.
I'm not disagreeing.
But glad I get to keep that into my brain.
Yeah, no, Latine's like that's the bizarre thing is that there are so many, and it should be stated there is a strong undercurrent of conservatism in a lot of like American Latino and Latin American subcultures. I'm not quite familiar enough with those subcultures to say why, but like there are a lot of Latinos for Trump, for example. Like, so it's not surprising that there are so many who would be like just radically against gender inclusive language, especially because Spanish has a lot of gendered verbiage. But it's just, that doesn't make it any less annoying when people use that as fuel, because they're like, oh, look at my one friend who speaks Spanish. They hate it. It's like, yeah, but they agree with you on everything else. They also think like we should put up a wall. Like what? So? Like you wouldn't be for gender inclusive language in English. Like what's your fucking deal?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that is one thing that actually I think Hillary Clinton publicly apologized for, that we knowingly infected. I believe it was Guatemalans with STDs.
Yeah, in Guatemala, I've actually
which is horrible, wrong.
Oh, it's
I
awful.
want to make sure I'm very clear.
Oh, it's horrible, wrong.
No, I'm just tacking it onto it, and then I'll say something I'm sure afterwards you'll be horribly offended by. But I want you to continue.
I don't think your wife would be happy if you were pro STDs.
No.
So yeah.
No.
But I definitely think I've been to Guatemala a few times, and I definitely think that what a lot of
that was
the United States
wow.
has done is we've taken
that was a
roots
dig
of
3 years at a time.
Not supremacy. Well, supremacy. White in terms of white.
All right, what are we talking about real quick? Almost like if you cut the education budget to the Latino communities, they all agree with uneducated points. I think, honestly, from what I've seen, and I do not have a lot of experience. I have never been in, like in close proximity to a Latin family. I have dated 2 Latino girls, and I have met their families. I have hung out with them back in high school. So that's my experience, which I realize not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. However, I feel like that is enough for me to judge just their conservative attitudes. A lot of it came from Catholicism and Christianity. Like, I think that there's an undercurrent of some American Latinos, not all, of course, but identifying with traditionalism almost in a similar way to evangelicals. And I feel like that is what drives some families to being more conservative. Yeah, no, that wife comment was bonkers. Hojo Potatoes, thank you for following. And Mrs., thank you for following. Oh, no, Yenzo, there are plenty of labels for niece and nephew. I forget. God, what?
See, obviously, where we are coming from was primarily
Hello.
white.
Hello.
Or
Dog
Spanish
says
would be
hello.
Considered more on the white side. They're on the white side of Europe.
I made the camera smaller, and she still
I
found a
think
way
that
to
lot
get
of our
into the
roots are
camera
from
view.
White supremacy
Hello.
and that modern day Thanksgiving, which is
Hello.
the Thanksgiving that you seem to be very adamant about, is that yes, we're very that we can
Do you have
be very
things to
thankful for the
say?
people that we have around us.
That's actually not the case.
Okay, she's
Oh,
done.
sure. Yes.
Okay.
I talked for a long time.
That's okay, yes. I want to make sure that I'm not interrupting you. But no, what I was saying was specifically Thanksgiving is a specific day. You're talking about 1621. You could say a week was a week of feasting.
Sure.
In 1621, and then it
Yeah,
became
no,
really
Shawnee
recognized
P,
by
like,
Abraham
by
Lincoln in
no means,
1863
by
after the Civil
no
War.
means
And so that
are
was the
Latinos a
we need
monolith.
holiday to unify Americans.
Yeah,
Black
just like literally every other subculture, which is what partially drives me angry when so many people are like, oh, my one Latino, my one South American friend hates Latinx or hates Latin. It's like, okay, have you asked all the other fucking people what they thought? Who died and made them the fucking Pope of the Spanish language? Like, it's just, I don't know how we got on this topic.
White, South, the Confederacy, the Union. Let's look back to this account that we have in history in 1621, where the early pilgrims would say Wampanoag. I always get the name wrong.
Yeah, I think that's the best
those are the tribes that they came to when they came to an abandoned village that had been left by the French at that point. It was a day in 1621 where they feasted with them. So it's a specific time that's recognized as a holiday for Thanksgiving because it was precisely about the old world and new world, bridging that divide.
Yeah.
So is he gonna? Sorry, I need to actually listen to what he's saying. But is he gonna? And I do agree with you, Sukiru. I think Latin sounds much better. I don't like the X. And I really don't understand. No, mental one. I don't. The thing is, I don't fucking like. It doesn't affect people. Like, it doesn't affect people, and people are like, people will say, like, oh, it's racist actually because it's incorrect grammar. It's first off, the people who are like arguing that shit didn't give a fuck about being racist to anybody from South America before that, and B, that's how new words are made, dude. Like, that's how you make new words. That's how you contribute new words to languages. Like, we do it in English all the fucking time.
And breaking bread together. And that was also symbolic of what happened after the Emancipation Proclamation. The country was at war. That's why it's designed to be as inclusive as possible. Any religion, race, gender, the whole point of Thanksgiving is to give thanks for what it is that you do have. And it's important to remember, too, that there were 50 years of peace after that.
Yes.
1621. So for a very long time. So what I am saying is that Thanksgiving...
The Latinx guy.
Thanksgiving, no, doesn't depend. There's historical documentation.
Like a Kingdom Hearts title.
It was this feast, 50 years of peace afterward. That's a wonderful thing. It's not racist at all. Now, if people then want to talk about, and you went through a whole list, and you went all the way down to Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
At first I thought you were saying Walker Texas Rangers. Like, Chuck Norris has nothing to do with the early pilgrims, but you were...
Just pretty sure Chuck Norris is also racist.
Going all the way through that. And this is what I see a lot of people doing. You did it to a more extreme example, you know, going down the Alamo. But people say, well, because afterward there were abhorrent acts committed, therefore that...
No, Lucky Veruca, exactly. Like, I think a lot of it has to do with being, like, old-fashioned. There are also a bunch of ethnic groups in Latin America, white, black, mestizo, criollo. Oh, exactly. Well, and straight edge Jesse, they're also that in America. Like, and I feel like when people say Latino, it's like in Africa. Like, there's a ton of different ethnic groups in Africa. But when people say, oh, it's from this, they have a broad, like, idea in their head, which might be stereotyping. Mao from NYC. You look lovely. My friend told me Latin was more in line with language. I'm Haitian with family in Latin America. Many families are pretty conservative, religious, though not my bestie. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sky Desert Hot. Yeah, Latin sounds... I think it just sounds better. Latinx. Which, Amirian, it's funny you bring that up, because in that video I was watching on Spider-Man, I'll get back to... We've gotten so far off on this tangent. In the video I was watching on Spider-Man, the guy kept saying Latinx, which, here's the thing, I don't think I'd ever actually heard it pronounced before. Like, I'd read it all the fucking time. But hearing somebody say it, Latinx, and it sounded so wrong that I was like, in that moment, I was like, yeah, I see why people fucking hate it. Like, I get why people hate it, but Latin is so much fucking better.
Thanksgiving. And what I am saying is, no, Thanksgiving is not exclusive in any way. It's actually designed to be inclusive by design, and that sets a precedent which you would have to apply to every single holiday, from Christmas to Passover to Ramadan, any holiday, because you could say, well, after Christmas they crucified Jesus, or there's the Spanish Inquisition. You could go through the atrocities that obviously, Jews are not blameless either, and of course they've been the victims. This happens throughout society, where people are sometimes they're the nail, sometimes they're the hammer.
What?
For some reason, though, there is a disproportionate focus on kind of what you brought up, white European settlers who came here as though they are singularly unique or responsible for these acts of evil, and it comes up around the time of Thanksgiving.
Because when it comes to indigenous people in America, they were, Stephen. Like, what is his argument is just like, why is everybody bringing up white people around Thanksgiving? It's like, why do you think, buddy? Really, why do you think? Let's really think it through.
And I don't think it could be less appropriate or less productive. I think it's divisive, and I think it actually fractures us as opposed to taking part in celebration.
Oh, there's that same bullshit Matt Walsh tried to pull.
That, and I see. I mean, obviously, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But these the 50 years of peace and unity that you spoke of.
Yes.
And then you also spoke about the Emancipation Proclamation, how that was getting rid of slavery.
Right.
However, just because
and here's the other thing.
African Americans in this.
Yes, KO. This is Epsilon. He was saying, sorry. Yes, KO. That is Steven Crowder. Epsilon. He was saying that like Jews have been in power and then not in power in history. He was trying to make some broader point. The thing is, what he was saying about, like he already has his mind made up about this thing. And you can tell he's not going to change his mind at all, because he's taking this incredibly small, reductive view on the issue. Mrs., thank you very much for subbing with Prime. He's taking this very small, reductive view on the issue where he's literally just saying, the only thing I'm talking about, the only thing I care about that's good is the meal between Pilgrims and Native Americans. And that's it. And that was objectively good, and nobody's going to change my mind about that. And then everybody else is bringing in these other structural points that they're making. And he's like, yes, but the only thing I'm talking about is this little tiny thing. And it's like, you have your mind made up about that little tiny thing, dude. Like you are missing the broader context of the conversation. You are trying to move the goalpost away from the broader conversation that people are actually having about the racist aspects around Thanksgiving. And you are instead just focusing on this one little tiny Disney-fied fucking version of the thing.
Country where they still went through so
much.
I'm
not saying at all that anyone is blameless.
But it's the idea that you're saying that what.
No. The only reason I want to be clear, the only reason I brought that up is because that's when it was federally recognized as a holiday.
Well, yes. But what I'm trying to say is that Thanksgiving, I guess, in your kind of sense.
I want to be very clear. Do we both agree that is why we celebrate Thanksgiving?
Yes.
It's not just general Pilgrims and Aboriginals or Indigenous. It's not general. There's a very specific reason why we
Aboriginals.
What's 1621, and then it goes to 1863. Aboriginal official holiday. So it's just because a lot of people think there's wiggle room. There's no wiggle room as to why we celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to say we shouldn't celebrate it because of and go down the list of grievances afterward, you can do that, and I'm more than willing to talk with you about that. But I don't think that that's fair to tar and feather a celebration because we choose what we celebrate.
Well, I don't think that we shouldn't celebrate Thanksgiving, and that's and like I was saying before, it's because I think there's so many things that we have to be thankful for, but I think that there's a separation now between the original reason for celebrating it and why we celebrate it now. More people, I think,
thank you very much, Mrs. I appreciate it.
Like, I'm thankful for my mom, I'm thankful for my dad, I'm thankful
like an episode of Family Matters.
Exactly. And so, or Full House or something like that,
yes. And that's why I'm having this conversation, because I'm amazed at how many students here have no idea the actual history of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I think it is important for them to know, because I also think it's, if they understand, it's far harder to lead them astray with lies of mass genocide.
Yeah. Well, I mean, mass genocide is a complete topic that
or the singularly unique evils of colonialism. We can go on down that trail afterwards.
Well, I mean,
again, like he is talking about, it's the same shit as Matt Walsh, where he's like the singularly unique evils, because his point is that colonialism wasn't singularly uniquely evil. The problem is that, yeah, we know that. That doesn't mean that people have been acknowledging how evil colonialism was properly for hundreds and hundreds of years. They haven't, Stephen. God. Yeah, one of these things is not like the other.
You're very talkative, and I can be that way too. Let's start with Thanksgiving. It seems like we agree on that. Thanksgiving is
Doug,
a good thing.
Well,
everybody needs to pay attention. Lady would like to show you her toy. This is her new toy, Mr. Fuzzy. She wants to play. She says pull.
I think that there are two, but there are still two different.
Prince in Yellow, thank you very much for following.
Go and say I'm thankful for this, but I think that we still have to recognize what this country has been built on, and the backs of who this has been built on, you know, and the actual entire history, rather than just thinking about this one day. That kind of.
But my point is, this is one day. We celebrate that one day. You can go into any history classroom right now. We just had several students. I would think that you probably admit this. Almost always taught. Every student I've asked so far said I've been taught basically about the genocide and the evils of the settlers. None of them were aware of the evil and barbarism that the natives committed against each other.
Well, I mean, I have been taught about that actually.
In school?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I have been taught about that.
But that's also, it's an intellectual fallacy to say though, well, because it's happened afterwards and applied to Thanksgiving. So I want to make sure that we both agree, Thanksgiving, great day to celebrate, good, and then separate from that, we can get into what you disagree with on the founding of the country, but that doesn't apply to the celebration of Thanksgiving.
But would you not say that if we're thinking about the foundations of this country and then thinking about, see, I feel like you're trying to separate the 2 days, but then, or
yes.
this day and the actual foundation of the country.
Exactly. He is. That's his whole thing. That's how he can't be proven wrong. Like oh my God, she's so based. She just gets it right away. She's onto his stupid bullshit. Love that. War Knight 46, thank you for following.
Separated, because we have to think about the fact that there was a time.
Killer Ken, yeah, that's my dog. No take, only throw.
First of all, when we started, yes, we were well, I'm not a direct associate with the Pilgrims, so I can't say we necessarily, but.
Have you done a 23andMe?
Yes, I have actually.
No Pilgrim in your background?
Not that I'm aware of. A lot of Polish Jew, so
really?
Yes, and also French.
Good for you.
French colonials.
There aren't many left, obviously, Polish Jews. It was.
Yes, it was an unfortunate time for us during that time.
Terrible.
But yeah, I would definitely think that, and this is just my opinion, obviously, because we're just swapping opinions. Sure. But I think that there has to be an association between the two, just because if you don't think about everything that has happened in the past, why can't I be
Persephone Apaturia.
Committing these,
so let me ask you, you're Jewish.
I am Jewish,
right.
yes.
So
thank you for subbing to Tier 1.
How do you celebrate Passover?
It's not necessarily. See, the thing is with Jewish holidays, a lot of them are not necessarily celebrations; they're reminders.
I don't. Yeah, Fjarl. I don't know. That was just a weird aside he made. I don't know if that was, anti-Semitic. Again, I think it was just him, because Steven Crowder. If you guys didn't know, Steven Crowder really fancies himself a comedian. Like, he really fancies himself a comedian, and because of his show, the podcast Louder with Crowder. His preferred brand of comedy is observational, like very easy observational, quick jabs. And that's basically all his show has ever been, is he will take a look at the story, a news story for the day, and then make some snippy comments about it and then move on. And he's never been particularly good at it. So when he does throw away jokes like that, while it may be based in some weird anti-Semitism, I chalk it less up to him being like, I'm going to lay one into the Jews, and more just him trying to be funny in any way he can. And he's just not good at it.
Passover,
who do we need to mod?
All the atrocities that Jews have gone through in the past. I mean, especially like Yom Kippur is one where we think about how we didn't have time to get out of Egypt.
Let me ask you this, and lest I do not want to sound like an anti-Semite, but I think we'll agree here. None of us would say that historically Jews are blameless in certain conflicts, right?
First off, Stephen, that's not the way. Don't start a sentence like that. I don't want to sound like an anti-Semite, but literally nothing good comes after that. Nothing good can come after it. Just rework the sentence, buddy. And second off, fucking what?
Well, I mean,
Renaroo, we're deep in.
I'm not
at your holidays.
Oh, weird, War Knight. You're on Twitch? Okay, I don't have a mod. It just auto picks things, and sometimes like it randomly checks certain words, like words I don't even know why it'll do. So I'll check on that.
Do you also have a day of mourning over the atrocities that Jews have committed?
I personally no, but I also don't think that I'm educated enough on those topics in order to have like an actual conversation about that.
Sure, but my point is, it's applying the same standard right to Jewish holidays.
Yeah.
And I think, by the way, I support Israel's right to exist. I certainly support them in the face of Hamas and look at Hezbollah and look at the Six-Day War. I'm far more conservative. That's why people think I'm Jewish and call me I'm working for Jewish shills. But I certainly wouldn't say that any group of people are blameless. But the point is, you're saying we need to celebrate this American holiday and recognize the fatal flaws in the United States. Doesn't sound to me like you're applying that same standard to Jewish holidays.
Well, I think that's definitely something that is flawed, and I also don't know. I wouldn't say I know enough about how to change the Jewish system. If I could, I would definitely try and implement something like that. But I think there's also something to be said about.
Well, then let's hear your suggestions on how we implement it to the American system. I just want to point out that we choose holidays to celebrate, and people shouldn't have a gun to their head to say you can only celebrate Passover if you also go over the Levant affair or whatever it is.
I definitely agree.
If you wanna say send the thing that got modded again, send it again, and I'll try and approve it.
You're not blameless on your birthday, like you committed a mass murder. So
Green 9170. I am trying a new stream layout.
That's unfortunate. I turned 19 this year, so I was not a prick.
Okay, good for you. You're one step ahead of me. Okay, but I say it because you mentioned we should also include this sort of day of mourning, this day of recognizing the atrocities. I think this is being singularly applied to Thanksgiving. I think it's being singularly applied because of what you presented as.
It's not though, like it's not at all. J Bond Boy, he's trying so hard to insert entire long jabs in these. He really is. I mean, the action of Israeli. Yeah, like I don't think he's blaming the actions of Israeli government on Jewish people. I think because he was also defending Israel's right to exist. I don't know what the hell he's even really talking about. Okay. War Knight, yeah, transsexual got transgender. I'm transgender and I use they them pronouns. But thank you for asking. Transsexual got blocked for whatever reason. That's generally not the preferred way. Transgender is usually the one, or you could just say trans. Most people know what you mean, but yes, I am trans and I use they them pronouns.
White European supremacy, which I disagree with, but let me.
Sure.
I want you to finish that thought, and then we'll kind of move on.
Oh, okay. So basically, I just think that I think it could be applied to a lot of different holidays. Obviously, maybe not some of them like Valentine's Day and things like that. But I don't really know the origins of some of these holidays.
Bastards at Hallmark might have to pay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know, and I don't know enough about like the origins of Christianity. I don't really know that much about the Crusades and things like that. So I really can't make too many arguments when it comes to other religions and other holidays that we celebrate, which are often religious based. However,
what your suggestion on Thanksgiving is you can celebrate Thanksgiving, but
no. So I actually think that what we should do is we should just constantly be mindful of what we have done in the past, and so that we don't repeat these actions.
Yeah.
And so,
Colo, I did not know that. I would actually love to see that.
Right, of bad things that white Europeans did.
Sorry, yeah.
Do you also think that we should be very conscious of
thank you, Epsilon, for shilling my OnlyFans. I actually just took, that's the reason why I'm so made up and my hair is all good, is that I did OnlyFans photos today.
But should they not be able to celebrate any national holiday without recognizing the horrible evil, far worse than anything colonialists did, that they did to each other, like ripping someone's heart off, cannibalizing them in front of their wives and kids?
Sure.
Should they not be able to celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
It's the same, it's all the same shit.
Cinco de Mayo,
well, the point is any sort of national holiday.
Yeah, so
can they celebrate any holidays in Africa, even though they were the ones who started this, what we know as the modern slave trade, and it still goes on there?
Yeah, so
like what the fuck? He's just listing random like atrocities in history, chalking them up to groups that like we're not the only ones to take part in them, and then being like, oh, you mean to tell me Cinco de Mayo is celebrated in the same parts of the world that hundreds of years ago used to have ritual sacrifices? Curious. It's like that was different though. The people who ritual sacrificed did not start controlling the flow of history and information. You understand? They did not try to cover up the fact that they ritual sacrificed and what's the word I'm looking for? Not galvanize. Mythologize the history behind them, like coming in and trying to destroy an entire civilization's way of life. Like it's a totally different fucking thing. It's like this whataboutism that it's almost a gish gallop too. Like it's like, oh, what about these things? And she's throwing them out so fast to this girl who's, by the way, already admitted she's like, I don't really know about these other things. I know about the thing I came here to talk about. Like I'll talk about like U.S. imperialism and stuff. And he's like, oh yes, what about these things that have nothing to do with that? What the fuck is your point?
I definitely think that obviously you can argue that everybody has, sorry, this hat's a little,
right.
That everybody is flawed in some way. However, I think that in order to really make some kind of progress in the future, you have to...
Lori Wagner, what continent is better? Right now, I'd say the one that people like Steven Crowder and Matt Walsh have never been to, Antarctica. I feel like that's the continent with the lowest probability of them ever visiting you there. That's the best continent.
Really, it's kind of like, I guess it's Catholics, you know, they talk about their sins a lot and they go to the priest and they're like, this is what I've done. And so I think that there's something noble and actually very progressive in being able to say, this is what we've done in the past, and now I'm thankful that we're here and that we're not currently living in that situation. And so in the future, we now know that this can't happen again.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it up a little bit on you here, so I hope you appreciate this. Not in a way that's controversial, but I don't think that you could argue anyone has done that more than Western European Americans. No one has been browbeaten and admitted to guilt more. For example, in other countries, right, if you were to conquer people or commit mass genocide, you subjugate them. You don't give them back land. That's not what happens, which we've done with Native Americans.
And we, oh gosh, it's just out of the graciousness of our hearts, we gave Native Americans reservations and cheated them out of their money. And like, God, he's so disingenuous. Ugh. Do I think I would survive there? Yes. I would, Lori Wagner. I would, because I'm built different.
Talk about the acts of barbarism. You know, there was no mass genocide. That's just not accurate. They were committing murder in massive numbers. If we talk about giving the land back to Native Americans, which I don't know if you suggested or you necessarily support that, or it was somebody else. You know, so you don't support giving land back.
I mean, I hadn't brought that up. I do believe in like reparations, actually.
Okay, so who do we give it back to? The Mohicans or the Mohawks? Because they were slaughtering each other.
I believe that there should be. But this gets very technical.
Well, no, but my point is, there are no national days of mourning where the Mohawks.
Why don't you just let her fucking answer? Like he's trying again. He's gish galloping where he's just like. Squeaker number 2 ruined by the dog. She's having a great time with those new toys. Like just let her answer. Sea Dragon, they are a person. What am I missing here? You have it really good here. I have it pretty good here. Yeah. First to be declared an LGBT friendly continent. Come Dragon. Are you a guy? No, I am confused as to what this content is. Cool. Thanks, dude. I was trying to figure out what I'm watching. Sorry for being so blunt. You're fine, Come Dragon. No, I'm non-binary. I use they, them pronouns. And we are going through a bunch of conservative takes on Thanksgiving. And speaking of which, let me see. I got another one here somewhere. We already did Benny Shaps. We already did. I have another Matt video if we want. If we want to brave those waters. Who's this one? This one. Ah. Why do I have... Oh, Rubin report. Oh, I forgot I had a Dave Rubin joint. That's... Is that one? No, it's the same one.
In case all of you in the good old US of A have missed the turkeys running around for dear life this week, tomorrow...
No, let's see who else we got. I guess that one's only 2 minutes. I can probably do some... Oh, no, it's the 5. It's not what I wanted. Where's the damn Rush Limbaugh one? I think this last one is it. Nope, that's not it. It was the second one? Yes, there it is. All right, let's do Dave and then Rush, and then we'll hop over to the Tuttle twins for today. Ugh. Hey, little Sissy Satan. Hey, I've been watching your videos for a bit, especially since you covered the whole saga with the cult. I mean, church. Just wanted to drop a quick thank you for everything you do. And by the way, I love the vibe of your channel. Thank you very much. Sock Hustra, thank you for joining. What? Dog is... Oh. Rush Limbaugh, rest in piss. Still one of my favorite jokes I've ever told on Twitter is somebody saying, oh my gosh, Rush was such a treasure. And I just said, buried treasure. Bow, bow, bow. My dog is... She's having such a time with this toy. She's like, look, I have toy. Please, toy. Blissfully forgotten that Dave exists. Well, that's where we're... See, now, and you get to be thankful to me. Now I know what you're thankful for this year. It's me for reminding you of Dave Rubin. We're going to slow it down so we can really take in all of the cadence here. No, media breakdown, I was not. I actually posted, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I posted something that I took from my OnlyFans.
Is Thanksgiving. Without even a close second, Thanksgiving is by far my favorite holiday of the year. I find that focusing on the 3 F's, family, friends, and food usually brings out the best in just about everybody. Between the tryptophan
I love
from
that
the
for
turkey, your booze of choice, and football
Saf.exe,
in the
I have
background, all of us,
not.
at least in my
Big fan of
experience,
She-Ra, though.
are just a little bit better on this day, which we've set aside to give thanks for all the goodness in our lives.
If you see me jerking, that's my
Thanksgiving is the
dog trying to
ultimate
pull me
reminder
away.
of what it means to be American. While most of us have the usual staples of turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and cranberry sauce around the table, we also bring in traditions from our own cultures, ethnicities, and nationalities. This blending of flavors, languages, and customs from all over the world is what makes Thanksgiving a uniquely American holiday, no offense to Canadian Thanksgiving. The melting pot that we've created here has given more freedom to more people from more walks of life than any other country in the history of the world. Today, people still yearn to come to America to take part in our freedom, and pretty much nobody wants to leave America, no matter how often celebrities say that they will. This doesn't mean we're perfect or anywhere close to it, but it does mean that our tradition of freedom, based on and rooted in the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, is a pretty good starting point for how to build a truly liberal and tolerant society. While politics will undoubtedly...
We're over halfway through this video. This video is called A Reminder of What It Means to Be American. Is this it? Is he just talking about, America's so cool and great?
Be discussed around the Thanksgiving table this year. I'm going to do my best to try to veer the conversation always to what brings us together rather than what rips us apart.
No, really, when we watched the Matt Walsh video, it was going down all of their collective points one at a time. Just erasing history, not acknowledging the bad shit, trying to shift the blame and draw comparisons to things that have nothing to do with indigenous person genocide. And then just at the end being, which is what Dave Rubin here is doing, is we should just focus on the good things that make us all feel good and bring us together. It's yeah, but other things happen too. There is no room with these folks for just a little bit of nuance. Ariel Haymarket is followed. Thank you very much. And Sassy Low Satan didn't say you followed. And I don't think I got Persephone Apaturia for subbing. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, no, Matt Walsh really was just speed running conservative talking points.
You're pro-choice. Maybe your sister voted for Hillary, but you voted for Trump. Maybe you want low taxes and your dad wants to redistribute wealth. Whatever those differences are, they are actually the very reason that this country is so great. We all get to have our own...
You don't actually believe that. You don't actually believe that. You don't.
...opinion and fight for what we believe. But beyond just the ability to be tolerant of people who are different from us, it's more important that we can still learn from, live with, and even love people who think
Larry
differently
Fishman.
than we do. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow filled with those 3 Fs I mentioned.
Well, here's the thing. Hank Boozle, we the best in turkey totally doesn't suck at all. Turkey, I learned this when I actually did. I had my ex-wife was actually a really good cook. And she had really great turkey recipes. I learned that turkey doesn't have to be just dry bullshit food. And it was a revelation because I come from a very white Thanksgiving. Very white Thanksgiving. So I never had good, juicy, delicious turkey. Everything is always overbaked and you have to slather it in sauce. But no, turkey can be bomb. Turkey can be bomb as fuck. Yeah, no, Mystic Malviolence. Turns out most people just have no fucking idea how to cook turkey. That is true. Most people do not. All right, let's hear Rush Limbaugh, the cancer patient himself, who was given a Presidential Medal of Freedom by Joshua Belleville, ex-wife, new lore dropped. Shalonda Hicks, thank you very much for subscribing. Yenza, one thing I hate about Thanksgiving and just the holidays in general is this hyper focus on how you need to be with family, and family is always cited to be your blood relatives. No, it's true. I've had several holidays and Thanksgivings and Christmases that we're with found family. We're with the family that you make. That's very fun. Azara Wagner, knowing there is genocide in the world, I have no appetite for colonialism. That's completely fucking fair and understandable. It should also be brought up that, like, we are seeing colonialism in real time in Gaza. Like, we are actively seeing what genocide looks like, spurned on by the entire community. And maybe in 500 years, in 400 years, Gazans and their descendants will be saying, hey, we need people to acknowledge the shit that was done to us. And there's still going to be people like Matt Walsh who are saying, Israel did nothing wrong. Israel is great. And they were totally justified in wiping all of those people out. It was a fair fight. Like, this shit really has, it changes demographics. It changes locations. Ultimately, it doesn't change that much, though. And that fucking sucks. Crafty Arts, thank you very much. Now I'm actually, God, y'all making me hungry for bird. I guess I am. It's Turkey Day tomorrow. Okay. That's right. Sorry, I've got a text in my ladies. All right, do we really think there will be a civilized world in 400 to 500 years? I hope so. I'd like there to be. I would really like there to be. That would be nice.
True story of Thanksgiving, written by me in my second bestseller, 2.5 million copies in hardback. See, I told you so.
Great. This is from Rush Limbaugh, who everybody out there knows those early. Here's the thing. I used to be, if you can believe it, super, super conservative in high school because of my family. And autistically, I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck, like their full shows. Like that, I would have talk radio on during the day on like summer vacation when I was playing video games and shit. So I've listened to more Rush Limbaugh than almost anybody. Yeah, I've listened to more Rush Limbaugh than anybody ever should, straight up. And I feel like I've changed. Yeah, you know, quick kitsune. I wonder what Rush Limbaugh is up to now. Fucking dead. Buried treasure. Rest in piss, Rush. I don't enjoy his voice. He's not good. Yeah, he's not good. Oh. Anakai bought one of his terrible kids books. Oh my god, my family bought some of his stupid fucking Rush Revere kids books. Like, they're so dog shit. They're so fucking bad. Yeah, he was a grifter. Like, he really was the template for like the modern conservative grift. The like getting in on things at multiple levels, getting in on having your like subscription service, getting in on having like multiple books. Yeah, it's. But anyway, talent on loan from God is his fucking thing. Oh yeah, Rush died like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, Pat Robertson. Ugh. Is Pat Robertson still alive? That fucker is still kicking. I did. You know what, Lorraine? I did actually listen to Art Bell when he was still on, because he would be on the... How did the segments go? I want to say 3 to 6 was Glenn Beck. Then 6 to 9 was Dave Ramsey. And then 9 to 12, I believe, was Art Bell. Because the local station did play Coast to Coast. Robertson died earlier this year. That's what I thought.
Chapter 6, Dead White Guys, or What the History Books Never Told You. The true story of Thanksgiving. The story of the Pilgrims begins.
This is it, everybody. After all the discourse, we've been here for 2 hours. Everything else doesn't matter. You're getting the real, the straight dope here. The true, the only story of Thanksgiving that matters from this greasy human cigar.
In the early part of the 17th century, the Church of England under King James I was persecuting anyone and everyone who did
Kenneth
not
Copeland,
recognize its
that's the one.
absolute civil
That's
and
the
spiritual
one.
authority. Those who challenged ecclesiastical authority and those who believed strongly in freedom of worship were hunted down, imprisoned, and sometimes executed for their beliefs. A group of separatists first fled to Holland and established a community. After 11 years, about 40 of them agreed to make a perilous journey to the New World.
Oh, yeah. Quiet Kitsune. I've been watching... Sorry, he's just so fucking boring. Quiet Kitsune, I've been watching a lot of Fundy Fridays videos, and the one on Kenneth Copeland, he is so... Like, he had a face that aged really bad, but he is also, like, a monster.
Where they would certainly face hardships, but could live and worship God according to the dictates of their own consciences. On August 1st,
I'm tired. I'm sorry, Flea Block. We're almost done with this.
It carried a total of 102 passengers, including 40 pilgrims led by William Bradford. On the journey, Bradford set up an agreement, a contract.
Marquise de Sade, that's such bullshit.
Just and equal laws for all members of the new community, irrespective of their religious beliefs. Where did the revolutionary ideas expressed in the Mayflower Compact come from? They came from the Bible. The Pilgrims were a people completely steeped in the lessons of the Old and New Testaments. They looked to the ancient Israelites for their example. And because of the biblical precedent set forth in Scripture, they never doubted that their experiment would work. But it was no pleasure cruise.
Flea Block, don't celebrate Rush's life, mourn his death.
An arduous one. And when the Pilgrims landed in New England in November, they found, according to Bradford's details...
Oh, SCP-049. Thankfully, this will now be up on YouTube as well, so you guys can totally, if you guys miss anything, you can watch it back. And I do appreciate all the YouTube views over there, because I think this will take up... I want to do a proper YouTube, an edited YouTube video for the next week's... I'm going to try and do a conservative comedy stream again. But other than that, I think a lot of these are going to... This just full streams are going to take my thing. What the fuck was I just saying? I got sidetracked by 2 comments. Are going to take the place of my stream highlights. These are. Am I acoustic? How so? I think so. Thank you, Crow V. Been good catching up on the streams via YouTube. I appreciate it. I'm glad somebody is watching them. Dog is still, pull toy. Everybody see dog?
Detailed journal, a cold, barren, desolate wilderness. There were no friends to greet them, he wrote. There were no houses to shelter them. There were no inns where they could refresh themselves, and the sacrifice that they had made for freedom was just beginning. During the first winter...
Oh, yeah, Cole Rebel, like, Rush, not only did Rush have a segment in the 80s, which famously came out again, where he celebrated the death of gay men, he had, maybe, this is fucking boring, so let's actually go... Do they have the... I cannot stress this enough. This was played on broadcast radio.
Now, Obama, he followed this, and he had to go out there and prove that he can speak this way, too. But the question that always surrounds Obama...
And this was... People don't remember this a lot of the time, but... Barack Obama was under such ridiculous amounts of scrutiny for being black. Like, the way he dressed, the way he spoke, in every single aspect of his life was like white people, conservative white people especially, were just had a microscope up to him at all times. And of course, this old raggedy bitch got mad as hell over, yeah, like the tan suit. Y'all remember the tan suit? I am mute. And so he made what a perfect image for this concerning title. He made a parody of the song Puff the Magic Dragon that, if you couldn't tell by the title,
He goes out and tries to imitate Mrs. Clinton's dialect. Is he down for the struggle?
There's something humming down here. Oh, that's somebody's BlackBerry. That's Sharpton's BlackBerry. Is that Hillary calling?
Now, keep in mind, this is a day where BlackBerry service and
See, literally just making a joke. And there's so many things that you can harp on Obama for being just like a centrist warmonger lib who just perpetuated American imperialism and capitalism and all that shit. Didn't live up to his promises at all. But being likable is not one of them. And I would say he is by far one of the most likable, charismatic presidents we've had in like the last 100 years, easily. So him just like throwing out jokes and stuff comes very naturally, unlike somebody like Trump. Rush didn't like that. Oh yeah, no, he put Dustin the Damned. I forgot about the Dijon. He put like deli mustard on a burger once, and everybody made like the entire conservative sphere tried to make it out like he's this highfalutin. He thinks he's better than the common man who just uses yellow mustard. It's like, what the fuck? It's mustard. Are you kidding me?
It's a bad day for BlackBerry on his Thursdays and Friday. I never lost mine. Well, I lost mine on
Wumbo Sloth.
The receivability.
It was the craziest time. It was so bonkers.
The black dialect for the urban national network or so forth. Let's go back to March 5th again. This is Selma, Alabama, and this is Obama talking about having been in Selma before.
This is the site of my concern.
And you'll notice how Rush says before, because he is so racist over dialectics.
I am the fruits of your labor. I am the offspring of the movement. So when people ask me whether I've been to Selma before, I tell them I'm coming home.
Okay, so he's trying to illustrate here that he is down for the struggle. And this next bite, this is at the National Urban Network, Obama says that he shouldn't get black votes just because he's black.
I should not get the support of the African American community simply because I'm African American. I don't believe in that. That is not what America
well, you
is about.
better change your attitude, because Hillary certainly thinks that. I mean, that's exactly what Hillary thinks. I guess they've patched it up, folks. I guess Sharpton and Obama patched it up since Obama showed up at Sharpton's big whoop.
Barack, the magic Negro, lives in D.C. The L.A. Times, they call him that 'cause he's not authentic like me. Yeah, the guy from the L.A. paper said he make guilty whites feel good. They'll vote for him and not for me 'cause he's not from the hood. See, real black men like Snoop Dogg or me or Farrakhan have talked the talk and walked the walk, not coming late and won. Oh, Barack, the magic Negro, lives in D.C.
I told you guys that he made a racist. This was on the air. This was on public radio. And in like 2008, 2009, does this have the year on it? 16 years ago. 2007. Like, nobody batted a fucking eye at this shit. Like, this was the state of conservative discourse. It's always been just buck wild like this. And nobody fucking gave a fuck. Like, yeah, like, there aren't words for how bad this is. It's so fucking bad. It's so bad. My dog can tell. She's sitting on my leg like this and looking up at me, going, please more toys. yeah, so that's just a quick reminder I wanted to go through of just the state of political discourse and how everything has always been. All right, so now I've promised Ienzo that we're going to watch some of the Tuttle Twins. Now, where's the more recent episode you were telling me about? Education Jungle. Is that the one you were talking about? Because that's only a trailer. Yeah, no wonder they like Trump now. Lori Wagner, you cannot tell me this wasn't a thing. I was there. I listened to it. I listened to it on the radio. I heard it when it came out. It absolutely was a thing. Wrestling with socialism. Ugh. Okay, here we go. Oh, angel.com. Good God, you're sending me to angel.com? Why do you hate me? Palate cleanser. Mr. Hush, I don't think this is a palate cleanser. This is the PragerU kids show. We all listen to it right now. Oh, thank you. Yenzo, was this you? Did you make it free for me? For those who don't know, and this is another great video that Lori Wagner, I don't know how else to... We just listened to a Rush broadcast. Like, Rush Limbaugh. Talent on loan from God is what he used to fucking say. Like... You can go look it up. All right, Mockingbird, keep that palate cleanser for a little bit later. We are going... God, that coked out raccoon gives me the heebies. Yeah, we are season 2 graphic novel. If you want to know a really good video on the Tuttle Twins, actually, King James from over at Fundy Friday did a really fantastic video breaking down not just like the Tuttle Twins animated stuff, but also the chapter books and like the graphic novels and just this whole media empire that has spawned out of this thing, specifically aimed at straight up indoctrinating and propagandizing to kids. Okay, here's the thing. While we're on the subject, imagine if Rush did the Halo voice. Kill-tacular. Rush doesn't really have like a really like he doesn't have a very like unique voice. Like when you hear Rush, you can be like, oh, that's Rush Limbaugh, but it's not like a voice that really is like, oh, that what an iconic voice, you know? Like I would love to have Keith David as the Halo announcer. That would be pretty good. Well, no, because Crow V, that was me trying to do like a Rush Halo voice, but really it would be like Kill-tacular. Like what else do you got? You got double kill. Triple kill. Enemy has your flag. Oh, no, you know what it is? I just have it running in my head all the time that it's flag dropped. Flag returned. Flag dropped. Enemy has your flag. Return your flag. Yeehaw, Lefty has followed. Thank you very much. Slayer. I do love that. That's one of my favorite ones I say I want to say it was the Halo 4 Slayer, where it just sounded like it was the Halo voice guy, but he had the cadence of like Pauly Shore, where it was just like Slayer. And so every time that happens, I'm just like Slayer. It's very dumb. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. It was right. It was right. Crovey, I wasn't wrong. It was either Halo 4 or 5, but there was one of them where it was just like he put a little extra something on the end of saying Slayer, and it was so fucking funny. All right, sorry. I'm trying to get us out of Tuttle Twins, but the Tuttle Twins will not be satiated. No, not polished Orsa. Should do voiceover. PK Ripper, I've thought of doing voiceover a lot. I've done a lot of. I think I told somebody the other day that I don't want to say gifted, but I have been working on voices from a very young age. Like that was one of my things I just did. Oh, thank you, Eric Noel DeCarlo, $10. Shiba dog squeezing a big red heart. That is the sweetest image in my head. I love that so much. I mean, Dark Excalibur, if you want me to do voice work, I absolutely would. I have recording equipment now, so I could. Technically, let me go get some water real quick, because doing the Slayer voice actually like hurt the back of my throat a little bit. And I guess I could say, because I've teased it a little bit, but I've watched I've teased it a little bit, but I've been watching some of the Daily Wires, the Bent Key kid shows. So I've been watching Chip Chill and stuff. And I teased that I was working on it with another content creator. And so I can tell you, I think that this last week, Savvy Writes Books and I actually recorded our video on it. So that will be coming in the first week of December. So everybody can get excited for that. So I've been actually in a headspace for like conservative kids content lately. You are so cuddly. My goodness. My goodness. I love you. Yes, I do. Yes, Savvy Writes Books. I'm very, very excited for that one. And it was so fun. Savvy is the friggin' coolest. I'm so excited. We had such a good conversation about Bent Key and that whole thing. Oh, Trans Emerson, any tips for other people who want to work on their own voice, like, say, changing resonance? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm super not the person to ask that. I have no... Like, I just, like, kind of do it, and it's not... I wouldn't say it's natural, but it's not... I don't know. I wish I could explain better how I do it, but it's not, like, something I've really scientifically thought about and looked at. All right, give me just 1 second. Dog, why? Why are you being such a booger? Why are you being such a booger? Favorite color? Probably, I don't know. I really love pink. Or I love pink and I love blue a lot. Like my eyeshadow. I don't know if anybody can see it in the light, but it's pink right now. I think David Spade would be pretty good in a horror movie, honestly. Play with the dog all you need. I appreciate how much you guys are okay with my dog just interrupting the shit out of everything. But that's to say that I've been watching a lot of Daily Wire Kids content in prep for that video with Savvy. And so like I'm already in a headspace where I can deal with basically shitty propaganda webtoons. Oh, I do love Purple too. Purple is really good. I have my headphones on. Can I do impressions of right-wingers? What right-winger could I do? I guess, here's the thing. I haven't done a Bush impression in a really long time, so I'm sure it would be embarrassing if I tried to do it. I only do impressions on stream I know I can do. I know, I was just about to say, is that Nixon? Who could I do? I can do I do an annoying or I annoy my partner, I should say, with my Alex Jones. And I also annoy them with my Jordan Peterson, where you talk about the dragon of chaos and the woman symbolizes order and in the chaos, and that's why women put on the blush on their cheeks. And if you've ever seen the Disney classic film, last time I saw it, I cried tears because it struck me on such a deeply emotional, resonant level. Like I can do like an annoying it's perfect. I hate it. Thank you. You gotta cry for a fool, Peterson. I know it. Like I gotta really get the like just like he's so weepy is the thing. It's not like a normal cry. It's like he gets weepy but then also has to stop talking. It's such a strange man, but like, because Alex Jones, I have to get in like I have to like I'm talking like a gorilla. My dog is growling at me because she thinks I'm teasing her.
Like we got the best supplements here. Supplements you need for your family. Supplements you need. Otherwise, the leftists will come for your family, and if you don't buy our supplements, that's how the New World Order will win. And they want to take everything away from you, but we can't let them. And that's why we're still in the fight here at InfoWars.
It's like it's uncanny. It does hurt my throat though. I didn't hear it.
Well, you see, that's exactly what the globalists want. They want you to not hear the...
See, and okay, I kind of went over into Macho Man a little bit. That was
kind of like Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah.
Like, that was a little bit too Macho Man for that one. I love you more every day. The ability to go between those two. Crazy. Biddies for the voices. Thank you very much. I was about to say slap into a Slim Jim.
Snap into a Slim Jim. It's the cream of the crop. Oh, yeah. The best there ever was.
All right, I'll be right back. Sorry. Okay, sorry. We got totally sidetracked by voices. I apologize. Boxing Cat SWL, you just totally missed me doing Alex Jones and Jordan Peterson impressions. I subbed Empty Chair says gifted a sub. Thank you very much to Mary's Ward. Or Mary Sword. You did pick, Boxing Cat, you picked a phenomenal time to check in. Should I just do Alex Jones lines, but in Macho Man?
They're putting chemicals in the water, making the friggin' frogs gay.
Shiba Dog shaking his body from left to right, surrounded by red hearts. Thank you very much, Epsilon, for $2. Patrick W. doing a super chat at $5. Your talent is crazy. Thank you. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it. A sub for the commentary, stayed for the diversion. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. All right, let's get to the Tuttle trends. Let's get to the Tuttle twins. First off, I do want to say I paused this originally. Hello, Doug. Doug says I can do voices too. She goes, woo 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 woo. Mwah. I love you. You're so good. You're such a goof. Lanny Popo gonna sue you if you keep doing Macho Man impressions that well. I had for a little while. I'm not gonna do it because it's not good enough. But for a little while, I was working on a walk-in, a Christopher Walken impression. But I still need to tighten it up a little bit because I was working on it for a bit on stage, and I actually had a Godfather impression. Because I had it was a very dumb joke. Nobody laughed at it. I thought it was very funny. But I had a whole bit about how, like, going to the dog park was like taking part in a gang war. And the bit ended. Here's the real problem. I kept forgetting to end the bit by saying the one-off joke, they're making a movie about my exploits. It's called Good Boys in the Hood. But most of the joke came down to doing a Marlon Brando Godfather impression, but about talking about dogs. And so it was very high concept stuff. Epsilon is super chatted $2. It was very funny. I thought it was a funny joke. Nobody ever laughed at it. The redhead has the hots for old adult men pretending to be an 11-year-old boy. What? This is so ridiculous. Yeah, no, exactly. Wumbo's Law. It's all about Kermit the Frog. Like, it's just a little bit, like if you take regular Kermit and you just make him a little bit more sad. You know? I think it was the wrong, Marquise decided, I think it was the wrong audience for that joke. All right, let's get to this. I wanted to comment on the voices here, though, because I can hear, like, a difference in, like, the literal recording quality of the video. Like, there's a difference in the recording quality. Maybe it's just because I got my my headset on, but there's a difference in the sound quality between her lines and his lines. Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who. This is so already... I have, like, very little context coming into this, but it's so already weird. Like, why is this child working with this government agency? The animation style is like a webtoon. I really dislike it. My dog is literally pulling me out. Yeah, Crow, you hear it too.
Weapon ready at last.
And it works?
Perfectly. Just point it at your target and squeeze one out. It's silent, but deadly.
Don't. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. A fart joke and squeeze one out in this thing for children.
It'll kill him?
No, we just like the catchphrase.
Can't I wrap my head around this type of division? Don't beat yourself up, Emily. This was a tough subject, and the curriculum doesn't give us much time to cover the topic.
Oh my god, the propaganda is just so... No, this one, I did not pay for this one. I did pay $100 for the fucking Daily Wire thing, so make sure you watch that video with Savvy when it drops. The boy with the voice is Lau, who pretty much rolled his eyes with OSHA regulations. I saw that part on I think the Fun Day Fridays video. Yeah, Blueberry, this is supposed to appeal to kids. It's just, are they gonna, oh, please tell me they go into a musical number about how schools are not, are forcing kids through. Is this gonna be some No Child Left Behind shit? I don't want to, I feel like the only other contemporary for this is obviously going to be the Bluey knockoff Chip Chilla. Chip Chilla is animated so much fucking better than this. It is crazy how just, I keep hearing, dips and changes in line recording quality. Maybe it's just me, but it's driving me fucking nuts. Because I keep thinking,
individual interests, plus all my...
The government decides our school material, and they don't give me any time to appeal to your individual interests. Which, here's the thing. There are so many problems with the modern educational system, but a lot of it comes down to things conservatives advocate for. Like cutting funding to school programs, not giving teachers the time they need, not letting them have smaller class sizes. When these things get brought up, when teachers go on strike over it, people like Matt Walsh has in the past say, what are you complaining about? Get back to your job. You're supposed to be teaching our kids. So the fact that they can turn around and spit shit out like this, talking about how, oh, the government is just, they're ruining education. It's like, the teachers don't want it like this. The kids don't want it like this. There are people trying to change shit, but it comes down to a lot of conservative fucking policies. And don't get me wrong, plenty of Democrats and liberals and leftists have, well, I don't think we have any people who could be called leftists in government, but plenty of Dems and centrist libs have voted down the similar things. But largely, when you hear people shouting down striking teachers and teachers advocating for better pay, more resources, more resource allocation to them, it's usually fucking conservatives. I'm ruining society? Me? I'm ruining society? Also, yes, Patrick Dune, you're. Right, you're. These queers seem so cool, and I was like, well, based, PragerU. Like, literally, what, dog, what do you want? What are you woofing at? You don't, what? What? There's nothing here for you. Stop it. Stop. All right, come here. Get some food. Yes, there you go, Bubba's. There you go, Bubba's. Okay. What was I saying? Woof. SCP, I'm not sure. I think they are trying to get at how I don't know how the government has, because this is the whole show is like incredibly libertarian. So it's always about how taxation or the government or anything is bad, and privatization and capital is always the key to like fixing things. Yeah, Sakuru, something about education is bad because government, but like the thing they're showing as like, oh, why is education the same as it was 100 years ago, is like, it's the most basic math. It's because basic math don't change. Like, what do you want, a cookie? Like, come on. Like, duh.
Finished, desired. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life believing it's stupid.
Isn't that his quote?
Thank you very much, Flamagonia. A lot of this actually, it sounds just like what Matt Walsh is in the video that I watched, or the videos. In the video I made, his complaints about the school system, where it's like, it's not specialized for certain people, which is like a fine and valid complaint. But again, it's this blanket argument that basically makes it up so that, oh, nobody gets a good education. It's like, that's not true. Also, yes, Boxing Cat SWL, like between the two main characters and the little funky raccoon, big fucking Phineas and Ferb vibes. Yeah, Lori, we missed you.
But
learning environment.
Are they just making Tiger like Tigger? He's the ADHD stand-in.
Wrong in this.
Because you can get concessions if you, for example, have a learning disability like I do, and you're ADHD. You can get concessions. You can get different treatment for things like tests and different standards for things like when you need to hand in assignments. Like, that's not even accurate. There are, even in the incredibly rigid standards which teachers are helpless against, there are still things in the modern school system that can make it a little bit easier. This is just such a disingenuous, like everything else, it's just a blanket framing with no room for nuance. bit. What happened to that?
Because there's some pretty weird stuff out there.
That's the latest Tuttle Twins, everybody. Yenzo, I hope you're happy for inflicting this on me. This was rough. This was a rough one. All right, I have time for one or two because my partner is going to pick me up soon. We have to go eat. I am starving. I do not have any food at home right now, so we got to go find something. Let's see. One or two. Somebody give me a link. I know somebody had the link. I think it was Mockingbird. You had a link earlier. Yes, Mockingbird, you had it. There you go. It's over, dear Lord. Can't believe this Libertarian Kids show was bad. What? I do look kind of cute tonight, I think. Oh, what are you doing to me, Mockingbird? What is this? This is a little bit too long, but I will, we can go through some of it.
I am posting this story online in hopes that someone out there hears what I have to say and believes me. My name is Ben Shapiro. I live an ordinary life in the United States. Like most people, I own a lot of lives, but I also own a lot of video games. That's right, video games. I try not to talk about it much, but my favorite video game
Pumpkin
franchise
Hill in the
is
background. Hell yeah.
It's
I love
extremely popular among conservative talk show hosts for some reason. But if we talk about it publicly, we are ostracized. Remember, when Glenn Beck was kicked off Fox News, that's because of his segment on why Sonic is better than Mario. So we try to keep quiet about our love of Sonic. But one of my favorite pastimes is to collect rare and obscure Sonic games. I own at least 3 Sonic Hatch and Cool Machine, and even own a signed copy of Sonic Dreams Collection. I will often go to flea markets or garage sales looking for vintage Sonic games and other merchandise. I have spent approximately $65,000 on Sonic media, including a very expensive commission of a drawing of me hanging out with Sonic and Knuckles at Six Flags. But that was far from the biggest
Thank you
price I
very
ever
much,
paid for Sonic.
Chuny
That day
I
came
Snow
just a
Pedal
few
for
weeks ago
following.
When my wife, who is a doctor by the way, and I walked into a GameStop. The building itself was decrepit and disgusting. The lights flickered grimly, and half the shelves were bathed in darkness. The whole place reeked of body odor.
And thank you
There
very
was a
much for
sullen look
subbing
of
at Tier
despair
1.
on the
I
face of
appreciate it.
every single person there. There was truly a depressing presence hanging over every inch of that place. In other words, it looked like a perfectly ordinary-looking GameStop, but it wasn't. This GameStop housed a
Let's
truly
say, for the
eldritch
sake of
horror that I
argument,
was unknowingly
that I have a
about
Sonic
to
OC.
welcome into my life. There was, of course, the standard affair of PlayStation and Xbox games. Nothing too exciting. I had no interest in Red Dead Redemption 2 or Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I have no interest in normie trash like that. Eventually, a display case in a dark corner of the store caught my eye. Now we are talking. My wife, Dr. Shapiro, and I sauntered over to the counter for a closer look. There were some random Game Boy and PlayStation games. But what really surprised me was a CD with the word Sonic Adventure 2 written on it in black Sharpie. The GameStop clerk walked over
Let's
to
say,
us.
for the
"Is
sake
there
of argument,
anything
that I
can help you
inflated
with?" she
Sonic
asked,
until he was
her
big and
horrible
round.
breath wafting into my face. Yes, I said. What is the deal with this copy of Sonic Adventure 2? The woman scratched her head. If I remember correctly, some crazy lunatic brought that came in. He said it was haunted. Really? I asked. She replied, "Look, I don't fucking know. Now do you want it or not?" "I'll take it," I exclaimed. My wife paid for the game, and we quickly exited the store. On the way home, I explained to my wife that
And let's
Sonic
say,
Adventure
hypothetically,
for the Sega Dreamcast is
that
far
Sonic
superior
OC
to
is
the
purple
Nintendo
and
GameCube
called Benny
port.
the Hedgehog.
The GameCube port was horribly butchered. You would think the port was done by Democrats. Yes, it's that bad. When we finally got home, I dusted off my old Sega to give my new game a try. The game started up perfectly normally. I breezed through the main menu and went to story mode. Hero and Dark Story were both already available as usual, but I noticed another story, Hell Story. I could not recall there being a Hell Story when I first played Sonic Adventure 2, so that seemed a little odd. But I was too excited to play some Sonic to think about it for very long. I selected Hero Story and was presented with the opening cutscene of Sonic jumping out of a helicopter. The first level city escape started up, and I felt a rush of excitement. My only complaint with this level is the lack of homeless people scattered throughout the streets. This is clearly supposed to be San Francisco, and we all know that liberal-run cities are a hotbed of homelessness and poverty. No wonder Sonic is trying to escape from the city, because liberal-run cities are awful, and I hate them. It had been a while since I played Sonic Adventure 2. I had little trouble handling the blue blur, I guess you could say I am a bit of a professional gamer. I quickly made it to the chase sequence with the semi-truck, but I noticed that there appeared to be realistic humans screaming whenever the truck ran over the cars on the sides of the road. It sounded a lot like how some people scream when I own them with facts and logic. Sonic was then cornered by a dumb agent inside a robot called Bigfoot, but every time Sonic hit the cockpit, the pilot would scream out in pain and call for his family. Once I defeated him, the robot
what are the lines for Bigfoot? God, I forget, because there are lines that are. He's like a blue hedgehog.
Realistic chunks of blood and guts rained down over the battlefield. I didn't remember any of this from previous playthroughs, but sometimes even extremely smart Harvard graduates like me forget one or two things. Then my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog character appeared, Shadow the Hedgehog. I was so excited that my voice almost raised by half a decibel. I know all the words to this scene so well that I was mouthing along with the characters. Except there was one problem. Shadow is supposed
thank
to
you.
say my name is Shadow.
It's
I'm
Beans.
the world's ultimate life form.
I appreciate
There's
that.
no time for games. Farewell. Instead, he said this: my name is Shadow, and your days are numbered. Ben Shapiro. I have been threatened at least 60 times in my life, but never by a cartoon hedgehog. Needless to say, this was quite unusual. Is it possible that the big titty goth girl...
Jesus Christ, Daikaiju, darling.
Was there some kind of evil force locked away inside the disc spinning around inside my Dreamcast? Or maybe that half Bud Light I drank was really getting to me. I decided to keep the level height and push onward. The next few levels went by without too much trouble. I have always been a fan of the Knuckles and Tails levels. I have watched a lot of YouTube videos of people saying these levels are not as good. But those people are morons. You heard me, morons. Anyway, I made it to the scene where Amy breaks Sonic out of Guantanamo Bay. I love this scene. Economy is easily my favorite ship. They have such great chemistry. Seriously, do not try to tell me that Sonic belongs with Sally Acorn, or Princess Elise, or Big the Cat. Amy is one
Or Big the
true
Cat.
love. I'm sorry, a
Princess
hedgehog
Elise.
marriage should be between a hedgehog and a hedgehog. Otherwise, the entire society of Mobius would collapse. I have done quite a bit of research on this, so do not even bother trying to debate me in the threads. Getting back to the game, I noticed something a little strange during the Guantanamo Bay cutscene. In the jail cell are copious amounts of notes written by Gerald Robotnik, but I noticed a different note sprawled along the wall in hyper-realistic log. It said, "I'm coming for you, Ben Shapiro." I had no idea what to make of this. Was this some kind of visual glitch? Sonic Adventure 2 is a pretty old game, after all. It was at this point that I was getting very tired. I had a busy day of talking about how all people on Medicaid are freeloaders ahead of me, and I needed my beauty rest. I turned off the Dreamcast, got up to stretch, and made my way for the bathroom, until I heard a faint whisper. A faint whisper that shook me to my very core. It said, "Hey, I'll play with you some other time," and it almost sounded like Sonic.
I would love to hear Ben Shapiro's impression of Sonic. That, "Hey, I'll play with you some other time."
It sounded somewhat like Ryan
I'm
Drummond.
Sonic.
There was
Sonic
a hint
the
of Bill White,
Hedgehog.
maybe a touch of Jason Griffith, and a splash of Roger Craig Smith. Also, there was some Martin Burke and Ben Schwartz too, as well as Julia White. I immediately wet myself, possibly out of fear, or possibly because I had poor control of my bladder, or possibly both. I put on my jammies and hopped into bed with Dr. Shapiro, who is also my wife, by the way. I tossed and turned for several hours. Sleep eluded me. My mind was racing with thoughts about what had just happened. Am I going crazy? No, you are not going crazy. The voice came from the foot of my bed. I looked up and saw Reggie Fils-Aimé, a former CEO of Nintendo, standing over me. "You are not crazy," he said in a calm voice. "You are in terrible danger." "What are you doing here?" I
Very
asked Reggie
Caitlin Bennett of
Fils-Aimé.
him.
"You are on the board of directors at GameStop. Aren't you busy trying to keep your company from going bankrupt?" "That is why I am here." Reggie's voice boomed throughout the room. "Customer service is very important to me, and I fear that you are in trouble of having bad customer service. You see, the video game you purchased from GameStop is haunted. If you are not careful, you could meet a grisly fate." I was very annoyed that Reggie was talking to me this way. "Listen here, Reggie," I said in a stern voice. "If you don't get out of my house, I will grab my shotgun and make you leave." Reggie chuckled. "Ha ha ha ha, you don't understand. I am not in your house." Reggie snapped his
You're a
fingers.
beta male,
The walls
Sonic.
and floor of my bedroom began to dissolve. I turned to my wife, Dr. Moore Shapiro, but she was already gone. It was just Reggie and I
don't
alone
have
in a dark
kaiju-
void. I looked over to Reggie, who had a smug grin
I
on
was
his
about to
face.
say, don't have
"Where are you?"
kaiju
I
stones,
asked him.
Daikaiju, darling.
Reggie walked closer. "You really think they let anyone be the CEO of Nintendo?" "Absolutely not."
Thank you
My
very
power
much,
far
Casey
exceeds those of
Vioch,
any
for
human,
subscribing.
including you, Ben Shapiro. So I think it's about time you started treating me.
Reggie
And if you
Fils-Aimé.
don't listen
He
to
used
me
to
now,
be the
things
CEO of
could end very
Nintendo.
badly for you,
Oh,
my friend.
no, I'm Ben. Okay.
Reggie Fils-Aimé was right. Well then, spit it out. I said, what is going to happen to me? Reggie snapped his fingers again. We were transported to a living room covered in blood. Forensics teams were taking pictures.
I love how
I looked
deranged
over
it is
some
that there's
men
like
kneeled over
cute
by the
chow
television.
music still playing.
The screen was broken, and an overturned Sega Dreamcast was next to it. I can't believe it, one of the men said. It appears to be some kind of quote, like from a hedgehog. But it's blue. That is impossible. The second man shouted, hedgehogs are not blue, dumbass. Would you just shut up and let me do my job? Nicole. His two men faded away, along with the rest of the gruesome scene.
Thank
you
you
understand
very
now?
much.
Reggie asked. If you keep
Carrie
playing that game, you will be killed.
54678
My hands
has
were shaking.
gifted a
My
sub
lips
to
were trembling.
Saf.exe.
My
Thank
throat
you
was
very
a
much,
little
Carrie.
scratchy. Was this really the work of Sonic the Hedgehog? I asked. I'm afraid so, Reggie sighed. I can't believe Sonic would do this. I started sobbing. Reggie patted me on the back. It's not that surprising, honestly. Sonic has always been a bad boy. What am I supposed to play now? I asked. How can I go on without Sonic? Reggie comforted me. It's okay. I'll tell you what, Super Mario 3D All-Stars is now on sale. I can put one aside for you to pick up at GameStop tomorrow. I froze. Suddenly, everything became clear to me. I chuckled. You just overplayed your hand, Reggie boy. What are you talking about? Reggie said defensively. Don't you want to play Super Mario 64 with updated HUD sprites? I laughed in Reggie's face. So this was all ruse to trick me into denouncing Sonic. You have some impressive
Yeah,
powers,
Minerva,
Magic Man,
I'm streaming to
but it will
both
take
now.
more than that to fool Ben Shapiro. Reggie's face turned red. Listen to me, he shouted. Sonic the Hedgehog is a murderer. You are doomed if you keep playing that game. I laughed even
I still
harder.
need to play.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
And his master chief a pedophile. Reggie
Kermit
felt
Thorson,
sorry.
has anyone trained an
Right,
AI
Ben.
to do a Ben
If you want to keep playing
JOI?
that game, I
Don't
won't stop you. But I hope
don't
your
speak
body is
cursed
ready.
things into
I hope it
existence.
is ready to experience pain and agony like you have never
Mini
known before.
Minervala
I hope your mind and spirit are prepared
has
for the wrath of
followed.
Sonic.
Perpetual
Very
Grimaces
few
super
people are
chatted.
more
Have you
powerful
watched
than
any
me.
Amon animation
Those
videos?
are
I think you'd like
to
them.
be
And
immortal.
happy Turkey Day, by
And
the way.
a
I have.
stout
We watched.
A Sonic is very
We
close.
watched some
You
Amon
won't be able to beat him
animations
on your own.
a little
So if
while
you need
ago
help,
as like
just call
palette
out to me, and I'll
cleansers
be there.
from Matt Walsh
You
stuff.
won't
It is
you're more annoying than
a
Alexandria
phenomenal palette cleanser.
Ocasio-Cortez. Just get me out of here already. Reggie Fils-Aimé stood silently for a moment. I could see the conflict in his face. Perhaps he was being honest, or maybe he was upset that he couldn't trick me. It did not matter at this point. I love Sonic, and it is impossible for anyone to change that. Reggie snapped his fingers one last time. I was suddenly back in bed, sweat running down my brow.
Hey, my love.
Was it all just a dream? I calmed myself down. All right, Ben, let's think about this factually and logically. Reggie Fils-Aimé
Factually
does
and
not have
logically.
magic powers. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a lazy port and a ripoff. Hedgehogs do not actually exist. I went to the bathroom and splashed some water on my face. When I turned off the tap, I heard music off in the distance. I would know the music anywhere. It was the song my wife and I danced to during our wedding.
Live
It was
and
the menu
learn
theme
from
of
Sonic Adventure 2.
Also, my wife is a doctor. I stumbled half asleep into the living room. Sure enough, Sonic Adventures was on the television. Silly me. I must have forgotten to turn it off. I stepped towards the game console and stopped.
Fucking
after
look,
that
hey,
nightmare.
live and
It might
learn
be
goes
better to
hard.
stay out
Like I'm
for a
not
while.
even gonna
What
lie.
harm could there be in that? I sat down on the couch, grabbed the
Thank
controller,
you, Claire
and
Rev.
set my gaze on the
Claire X,
television screen,
I do
which
my
illuminated
I
the
do
dark
my
room with
best.
comforting, familiar light. The game was already on the story select screen. The cursor hovered over that mysterious third game mode, Our Story. I'm not sure what provoked me to select that option. Was it simply curiosity? Or was it some kind of self-hatred?
Narrator
Was I trying to
9000,
prove
we are
something?
chilling
Even on the
off
other side
with
of all
some
this, I'm still not sure what goes through a
some
man's
very
mind while he's
fun
ruining his life. Is
shenanigans
any
with
thought
Ben
justified?
Shabibi.
All my accolades and knowledge. Is it all worthless in the face of one stupid act? Hell's Story started off with the casting of Dr. Eggman. I love Dr. Eggman. Shadow might be my favorite, but Eggman is the character I relate to. Amazing physique, incredibly high IQ, completely misunderstood.
I
Dr.
love your
Eggman
cat
also
Mazikeen
reminds me
too.
of
They
my
seem
wife
like a
for
very
some
nice
reason.
kitty.
I'm not sure why, but something was clearly very wrong with Eggman in this cutscene. He was sitting alone.
Chuny Snowpetal, that sounds like a fucking nightmare.
sobbing
Listening to this
quietly.
Sonic Adventure music
Please
while
be
also
quiet.
listening to Ben
Don't do it.
Shabibi.
I'll put my evil past behind me. I will never defame the moon again. I'll return the chaos. Emerald, just please don't kill me. Eggman's words were trembling at this point. Suddenly another figure came into view. It was Sonic the Hedgehog, and he was holding a gun.
It's so fucking
Sorry, Eggman,
dark how
but I
it's
can't
like
let you
it's
live
not even
anymore.
playing like the
Sonic
spooky
cocks his
music.
gun.
Like they could
Now
play
get
it like
rid of
the Dark Chow
Extremely dark.
Garden.
I couldn't believe it. Dr. Eggman was fucking dead. A loading screen popped up for the first level. It was a Knuckles level. It was called Escape Pod. I had to collect 3 keys to unlock the door to the escape bay of the space colony. There was also a time limit of 11 minutes and 34 seconds. The level was actually quite fun. I even felt like a kid again. But Sonic's voice would frequently come over the intercom. I'm coming to get you, Knuckles. You are running out of time. And then you are next, Ben Shapiro. This put a bit of a damper on my experience, but I still really enjoyed the level. The next level was a Tails level. I had to make it to the escape pod that I had unlocked as Knuckles. The strangest thing about this level was that there were no enemies or music. It was just Tails walking through a dark and lonely spaceship that reminded me of my last birthday party. Sonic would come over the intercom in this level too. He said such
Mr. Hush, I feel like we started at absurdity.
You are dead, Tails. I beat
Big the Cat could do better than Ben Shapiro.
Tails arrived at the escape pod.
What would Big the Cat sound like? It would be like, Froggy, facts and logic. Something like that. That's Big the Cat as Ben Shapiro.
But there was no response.
Facts don't care about your feelings, Froggy.
My dog didn't like that one.
Tails then started weaving between the sobs. I could hear faint footsteps. I knew those footsteps anywhere. It was Sonic. Hey, Tails. Sonic called out. Did you see what I did to Baldy McNosehair? I think we should change his name to Corpse E McNoface. Why are you doing this, Tails cried. You're a good guy. You are supposed to help people. Sonic laughed. I am helping people, Tails. It might not seem like it, but there are some very bad people who need to be taught a lesson. Sonic looked straight at the camera. There are some very bad people indeed. He pointed his gun right at me. I'm not sure what it was, but I somehow knew I was in.
Do Shadow. What's the line he has, Shadow? Fake hedgehog? Huh! You're not even good enough to be my fake. And then Sonic's like, I'll make you eat those words! That's that classic Sonic Adventure 2 scene, right? Where they interrupt each other. And it's like, what else is... I found you, faker! Is how Sonic starts that, yeah. Yeah. I can't do the one, because, oh, now I'm trying to think of Sonic Adventure 1. And all I can think of is that dumbass scene where I think it's like one of the first, no, it's where Tails goes down in the tornado at the very beginning and Sonic's face just goes fucking crazy. Like his eyes are just like, ah!
Great danger. I ducked out of the way of the television. The screen shattered as a bullet flew through.
Who is that? Sorry, my partner's here really quick. She had so much fun making this mess.
Why did you give her more than one?
Because she needed more than one for my stream.
I see.
Have you seen my new? Come look at my new stream layout real quick. No, my new. It's on the screen.
Be on camera 'cause they look horrible.
You won't be because I'm in a very slim part of the screen now. I have this very.
Yes, it's nice and streamlined like that.
Stop auto-modding my message for being. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, thank you guys very much. I'm gonna have to. I will finish this video later on my own. But, oh, dog. Dog is so happy my partner's here. I gotta get going. I gotta get some food in me. But we gotta. Do we want to do? All right. I'll do a couple more impressions if we want before I gotta go. My goodness, she has zoomies. Be careful with her now. Let's do, can I do a Tucker Carlson? I'm trying to think of, like, what is Tucker Carlson? Tucker Carlson is more in, like, the cadence. He's almost like a Bill O'Reilly. And he does this stupid thing where he, like, asks questions where he's like, well, if you can't go and pump your own gas in Oregon, who's to say that you should be able to pump your own gas anywhere? And this is the future that liberals want. And like, he's a little bit more, like, he has a cadence to him, and he has like a, Yeah, Tucker is a hard one to do. Duke Nukem, I can do Duke Nukem.
Those alien bastards are gonna pay for messing up my ride.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. I say Duke Nukem's
pork chop sandwiches
to me all the time. I say that to myself all the time. Here's the thing, Sean AP, I cannot do Trump. I cannot do Trump. Like I just can't.
Hank Boozy, I can do Solid Snake. A Hind D. What do you mean they're putting chemicals in our water that are turning the friggin' frogs gay?
Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. Don't forget. I need to practice my Ben Shapiro because I haven't done Ben in a while. But yeah, I gotta go. I need food. But thank you so much for stopping by. Somebody clip all the impressions I did so I don't forget them. I appreciate you all. This has been such a wonderful, fun stream, and I hope everybody has a good, fun time tomorrow on Turkey Day. We're gonna raid. I think the only person I got right now on the raid is actual Jake, but I'll show some support over there. And then keep an eye out. I have a really, really big video coming soon. King Dublin, thank you for following. Really big video coming soon that I am incredibly proud of, and I hope is good. And then don't forget, I have a collab video with Savvy coming. Savvy Writes Books coming at the beginning of December, so keep an eye out for that, and then keep an eye out for more streams. And thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night.